Man, that tune is catchy. I decided to go early, guys. I'm sitting here and I am ready to go, and I got a bunch to talk about. So let's get started. Say hello to Ren and Stimpy. They're back there, trust me. Ren and Stimpy and Powder Toast Man and Log and TV and Charlie Brown and Gimli. And let's get started. Welcome back to the KnivesFAST channel. I am excited to get this started. We do have Ben from Jack Wolf Knives coming on in a few, and you guys know Ben is an awesome dude, but I wanted to get started, and let's see who is in here. Mid-Missouri EDC. All right, so I have a question. Mid-Missouri EDC, who is that? I think somebody changed their name because you're a member. So who is that? To help me out here. I missed the name change at some point. Let's see. We've got Freak Show, Tim B, David Iverson, all channel members. Mike Curtis, channel member. Craig Wilkes, Scott Teague. Hello, Craig and Scott. Hello, Mrs. Freak Show, another channel member. Awesome. Rusty, another channel member. Craig Hamilton. Okay, Craig. Hey, bud. I saw you comment on something yesterday. I'm like, who is that? So yeah, but good. Addicted to Knives is here. Very cool. Andrew Hobber, another channel member. Michael Morgan, Ray can wait. Exactly. Manny Z, what is up, my friend? Good to see you. You were going off the screen. I almost missed you there. So I figured I'd start early because I got some stuff to talk about, and I don't want to take away a lot of Ben's time. Although, you know, we'll go all over the place because it's my live stream, and that's what I do. The tea tonight is in the, I thought this was cool. It's a Christmas mug, but guys, if that's not a Jason Brown mug, I don't know what is. Very cool. That was upstairs. So I thought I'd go with that tonight. And the tea is too hot to drink yet, but that is the Wild Sweet Orange from Tazo Tea. Hey, Shane Corson, Freak Show, another channel member. Good to see you. Nick Groffs, EDC. Very cool. Tim S. We were just chatting, Tim. Hello, man. Good to see you. Like that red color. Everyone go sign up for the SMKW giveaway. That sounds good, Tim B. Very cool. Mike Curtis says be up, just like Jason Brown. Very cool. All right, I see you, Ben. Give me just a minute, man. Let's jump on a couple things here, guys. Just wanted to start off by thanking you guys, the Pit Crew members, the Patreon members. So cool. I cannot do this without you guys. I ship tons of stuff every week, and I have all kinds of other things, buying giveaway items. I know you guys know I give away stuff all the time. So really appreciate the help with that. And then guys, we are over 6,000 subs as of Friday. Well, Thursday night, very late. And we just went over 6,100 today. And so, yeah, keep it going. I love it. Very cool. So two more things, and then we'll bring Ben on here. I wanted you guys to know I'm now an affiliate with traditionalpocketknives.com. I have a link down in the description of every video that you can go there, and I'll get credit for that. And I'll buy knives and review them and give them away. And then he's going to do exclusive knife discounts for JB and I as ambassadors for him. And so we'll see how that works. But when he does exclusives, you guys will be able to get a discount through our code. And then the last thing, as of yesterday, I am now an affiliate with Olight. You can now use the code KF10 to get 10% off any regularly priced item. It cannot be a sale item at Olight. So that is super cool. And there's also a link down in my description to that. So that's all the business. Let's get Ben in here after I hawk all my wares and everything. What's up, Benny?
What is up, everyone?
Oh, my goodness. I love having you on, man. It is so much fun. I got my Jack Wolf hat here. Good to go. You got the fireplace going, which is good because it is currently 37 degrees outside here and windy. It was like 28 when I got up this morning. Not good. So thank you for the fire. I feel it coming through the TV.
Anything I can do to help.
Yeah, and Cemetery Gates is here. And I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. Crispy Critter is here. I love that name. And so there's, guys, Tim has put up the Olight link just for you guys. Again, 10% off with that code, so check it out. They noticed, Ben, that I did a review on the Olight Arkfeld, and that has done very well. It's up to almost 5,000 views. And
Nice.
so they were kind of impressed with that. And they're like, here, have a code. So yeah, that was pretty cool, man. So every once in a while, a blind squirrel finds an acorn. So we're good. Countdown to the Cyborg. Very cool. So we're going to talk about the Cyborg, and let me do that up front, and we'll do it again, guys. This is the Cyborg Jack. Ben, I had a lot of people commenting that for some reason they really like the black micarta on this one. I think it looks pretty amazing, especially I've taken some cool pictures outside with it. I think it looks really cool in that black micarta. Really do. I know Freak Show will be trying to get him one of those for sure. Yeah, these are coming Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, which, you know, everybody knows Eastern's the prime time to worry about, right, Ben? Of course. So
it's weird being in Arizona because half the year we're on Pacific, half the year we're on Mountain. So right now we're on Mountain. I kind of prefer Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, just being
so
3
you
hours
go
back from Eastern is a lot.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. But what I was gonna say is, so right now for you, because you guys don't fall back and spring forward and all that crap that we do, what time does it get dark there right now?
Well, so right now it's 5:45 and it's damn close. So
okay, so about the same, really. I mean, it got dark here right at about 5 today. So
yeah, the days are getting shorter. It's kind of
yeah.
cool. Our weather gets perfect, but then you lose a lot of daylight.
Right.
So
You don't have the daylight to go out and mess around. Exactly. I cannot. Ben's house gets more elegant every time I see it. says Brian from Blue Creek. Their business goals. I like it. Very cool. Yeah, it looks nice, man.
I straightened up for you guys.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, Brian's coming on in a couple weeks. Look, listen. Oh yeah. There you go. Snappy, my friend. Brian is coming on in a couple weeks again to have a here on the KnivesFAST channel is where we introduced Christopher Walken from Chris. So he's going to come back on and do a reprise, whatever it is. I don't know. I can't talk. But yeah, these are going on sale Friday. Now, Ben, I got to start off with a softball here. So how cool is it? Now, again, I know every one of these knives are your baby. I get it. Okay. But they're all based, all of these, like this guy right here, the sharpshooter, they're all based on traditional patterns and they got your little tweak to them. But to me, this is a Benny B design, man. How does that feel?
It feels amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, it feels amazing because I had no idea at all if people would like this or if it was just like too weird.
Yeah, well, I don't know if weird's the right word. It's definitely different, but I'll give you a little
reservation, as they say.
Yeah, I'll give you a little preview of something I noticed here. There's a little bit. I mean, again, they're different. Please understand that. But you got kind of a cyborgy angular thing going on here with all these great angles on the bolsters and the end cap. Hey, I got it right, Ben. But there's that turn down in the handle. There's not really a turn down in the blade, but you can see some similarities there. So you're not like way off the reservation. There's something there, obviously,
and truthfully, like if I covered the handle and just showed you the blade, it doesn't look that foreign.
Right.
And so Logan, Knife Thoughts, in his review, he was like, yeah, it's really like a cyborg because it's like half man, half machine, like half traditional knife, and then half futuristic knife.
Yeah, I see it.
Mean to do that, but I'll run with it because it's a really good kind of observation.
Right. And for me, ergonomically, you were mentioning the upturn here at this first time you've done that. And I love a thumb ramp. So to me, that just feels awesome. It feels like it's meant to be, you know, feels
Yeah.
good in the hand. Hey, Will B, were you already a member before, or are you a new member? Because for some reason I thought you were, but if you weren't, either way, welcome. I'm not able to put it up on the screen for some reason, but there is your Daleka salute. Welcome to the pit crew, or welcome back to the pit crew, or whichever it is. But if you're new, please shoot me an email at knivesfast@gmail.com and I'll get you some swag. So I think, Ben, I think you're right. I mean, I think Logan's right. If you hold it like that, I mean, that's a very traditional looking blade shape. But it's really what does it for me is the closed profile. So you've got this angle right here and the opposing, well, I can't get it right, opposing angle there. And then you've carried that to the bolster, same thing. And then here, so there's a lot of odd symmetry, I guess you would say. So it's not super symmetrical, but it's
like I took rectangles or squares and I bent them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or I offset them or mirrored them.
But there's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And all that took a lot of time and moving lines around to get them exactly where they needed to be.
Irregular regularity.
Yeah. It's kind of like a funky modern painting would be, you know?
Yeah. I dig it, man.
I had a lot of fun with it. I like crisp, angular design. Like that's what I like for me. It doesn't really exist a whole lot in the traditional knives. Everything's really organic and curvy, you know?
Yeah.
But
I like that pink too.
I just had to do one for me. You know what I mean? Kind of for me.
Absolutely.
And just roll the dice on it. So that's why it's kind of deep in the lineup, because I didn't want to throw something out there so soon that might be a whiff.
All right, let's go to your innate ability to surprise us. Okay. How long ago did you draw this?
Oh, this has been drawn since before the first drop.
How do you do that, Ben? I'm not good at that. I would have told somebody. You're very good at that.
I didn't do it with, there's a few people who saw it. Like I have a small, and it was people I've known since before I met most of you YouTuber guys. You know, dudes I met in the slip joint collecting community who know my preferences and I know theirs. And so there's a handful of guys I'll show work in progress pictures to. But like the understanding is you can't show that to anybody, you know, because you'll spoil what's a really hard secret to keep. But I really like dropping stuff on you guys that you don't expect. That's a lot of fun for me because the reactions are that much better.
It was really cool. It was cool. You caught all of us. When you said the name, I'm like, what the heck is that? I asked you like 10 things and you didn't. No, I couldn't get it.
Yeah. And I didn't, you know, someone would have really had to get lucky to guess.
Yeah, I agree. Would be.
But I had a lot of fun with it. It's like,
your head.
You know, making the nail nick kind of fit in that little spot, but while still looking good. Mm-hmm. When it was open, I kind of wanted that to look like an eye of like some kind of, I don't know. It's not a bird. It looks like a rhino, but it's not a rhino. It just looks like an eye, you know?
It does. It very much looks like an angry eye. I said that in my review.
And this thing, I love it in the half stop position. You know, like to me, it just looks super cool in the half stop. And yeah, I don't know. I was really happy with this came out. By the time I drew this, I had my tang geometry pretty much nailed. And I was starting to get comfortable taking some liberties. So,
yeah, that's really cool. Will B, thank you again, my friend. I appreciate it. And guys, for sure, Michael Morgan says, shout out to Bill Pro X. Hey, Bill. We miss you, brother. Come back anytime you can. Troy, Tree Stabbing Troy's here. Stacy's here. Darnell is here. Leland Phil is here. Byron Kennedy is here. Did I miss anybody else? Welcome, everybody. If I missed you, welcome. This is Ben from Jack Wolf Knives. If you don't know, that's who it is. So yeah, that's a super cool one for sure. So here's what we're gonna do, guys. I want to do kind of a condensed pocket check today because I got stuff to chat with Ben about, and I want to be respectful of his time. So I want you to leave one knife you're carrying today, or one knife you're really excited about, whatever it is. Just give me that. We'll go through them, and we'll shorten the pocket check up a little bit here. If you're really crazy about two, go ahead and leave me a second one. That's fine. But I'm just trying to shorten it up a little bit here.
And I want to say hello to everyone in the chat. I saw a lot of you guys say hi to me. I wasn't able to address you individually, but I am paying attention, and I really appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome, man. Week after week, stream after stream, you guys show up, and we got the best crew ever, honestly.
Very much. Rusty's got a Spyderco Spidey Chef customized by Scott at Big Bore Knife and Gear. Very cool. And there goes my screen popping off already. This is the part that I struggle with the most of everything, Ben. Is reading pocket checks. Yeah, it's challenging because I'm like klutzy. GEC number 81 in red onion micarta. What do you think of that one, Ben? That sounds pretty cool.
So,
I'm not sure what the 81
is. It's the new one. It's the Coon Skinner. It's a serpentine pattern, double muskrat clip. And I would say, just based on my observation, probably one of the least popular knives they've dropped in a while. I've never been a huge fan of a blade on each end. I don't know.
Oh, it's the same blade, right?
Same blade, double muskrat clip. And the clip doesn't look too much different from, it's a long, skinny clip. Like, I wouldn't call that a muskrat clip, but, it's a long, skinny clip. And
gotcha. Well, I hope Gorilla likes it, but I hear you.
Well, there's some. It's just, look, I don't gravitate towards a lot of the double bladed knives anyway. That's just my.
Right.
I like, if I have a second blade, I kind of like a pen blade versus two mains.
Right.
But that knife is historically significant. Of course, it's extremely well made. It's pretty sweet. It's not one of the popular ones.
Not one that pops out to you or collectors.
Yeah,
right.
I think a lot of people were disappointed that they didn't do a Stockman, like a serpentine on that pattern. People really wanted the 3-blade Stockman, but
yeah, that would have been cool. All right, let's see. Mrs. Freak Show's got the Vampire Jack and soon the Cyborg. Very cool. Yeah, hey, Jack Wolves. All right, let's see. And it jumped on me. Micarta F5.5, for Jared White, Petrified Fish Beluga for Beefer Baron. Hello, sir. Towser K for Joe Kasparek. Jigged Titanium Penguin for Darnell. I love that. Jig Titanium Penguin. That is so cool. Ohio River Jack in Jig Titanium for Mike Curtis. Very cool. You just got that, didn't you, Mike? Carry my Benny's clip. Favorite Jack Wolf so far, says Freak Show. That is a great one. Carried that the other day. Devo Stout and a Midnight Jack for Brian at Blue Creek Knives.
Nice.
Sheep's Foot Griptilium with aluminum scales for Michael Morgan. Very cool. Obviously carried a Roosevelt for Matt Swinsky. Matt's showing off because he's working over there now, which is really cool. Does Ben have any other surprise drops coming up, says Tree Stab and Troy.
Well, that will have to be I have no comment type answer for you guys.
JD for EDC is a Mannix 2XL and a Finch 1934. That's hilarious, Ben. I had to go Jack Wolf Midnight Jack in honor of Ben's appearance tonight, says Tim B. All right, I think I caught up.
Tree Stab and Troy has, I think she's called the Laid Back Jack LBJ.
Okay.
Could be a little bro if you got one, but I think it's the Laid Back Jack.
That's true. That's true. And I saw you say the other day somewhere that those are going to be a while before they come back, the little bros.
Well, it's not too far from now. Mid next year. Next year.
All right, let's see where I was here. If I missed folks, Black Pinion, I'd like to see a hawk bill from Ben, says Stacy. Very cool. What do you think of that, Ben?
I like hawk bills. Let me just say
cool.
that.
It's cool.
And so I would I've been thinking about how to do one. I think a futuristic hawk bill might just be really, 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 really cool. And do guys buy them? Like, do guys buy hawk bills?
I don't know.
You know, GEC has a Viper hawk bill. I have some knives out from the podcast I did earlier, so I could show stuff off from my collection. But this is a Viper, right?
That's right. I think
this is the number 47. This was the Horween leather.
Yep, you sent me that one. Yeah.
Yep. So, but GEC had this knife with a hawk bill on it, and they just didn't make it very often. It was like taller, like this. So, do I do a hawk bill as a sway back? Do I do a hawk bill with like a more Barlow type handle? Like, I don't know. I'd have to sit down and draw it. I think if I did that, just like the Cyborg, I'd draw the blade first, the way I draw the pivot and the blade, the way I want to see it, and then I'd fold it and wrap some kind of cool handle around it and go from there.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a good way. I like you. We need to get you to tell that story about how this one was drawn differently in just a minute. I have been seeing the Coon Skinner in stock a lot more than other models, says Tim B. Yep. I saw they even showed them on SMKW's live the other day, so they must have sat there for a little bit. Beggars can't be choosers. Waited 2 years for a GEC. Now I guess I'll go cry, says Gorilla.
Listen, it's an awesome knife. Don't even think otherwise.
No, you get the one you can get, man. It really, I saw somebody said they were carrying a Pinion today, and then it jumped on me. Tim S carrying a blue Pinion today, of course. And David Iverson, blue Hinderer Eclipse, Hinderer Emmett, Baby B, Victorinox, Alux Pioneer, Nipex, Pliers, so on and so forth. Forest Tank. Man, guys, it is jumping like a bad thing. Thank you, Stacy and Tim B, for the links. And I think Grumpy put some up a minute ago, too. Very cool. Yeah, I am way behind. Grimsmo Norseman, Concept Pretatau, however you say that. Pinion, very cool. Civivi Chevalier, Kaiser Mini Sheepdog, Spyderco Ronin. Holy cow. And Light Baton 3. Very cool, Will B. You had a little bit of everything today. SPK Lamia in the pocket today for Honey Bear. K9 Jack for Dan B. Nice. Indiana Knives. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was saying thank you, Dan, for rocking the K9.
Very cool. 20 CV Capara and a titanium penguin for Manny Z. XM18 and a blue vampire Jack for whoever that was. It jumped. Gosh, I just don't even know what else to do about this, man, when it starts jumping like that. David's got the Civivi Riffle and the Kaiser Paragon. Ben likes to keep secrets, says Stacy.
I do.
Oh, look at that. We got a new member. Carco, thank you. So we got 2 new members tonight, Will B and Carco. So both of you guys, if you would send me an email, knivesfast@gmail.com, and I will send you some channel stickers and a little thank you note. Thanks, Carco. There is your Dalika salute. That is the greatest knife ever made right there, Ben. Not really. Don't tell Keith I said that.
Looks like high quality.
Yeah, it was painstakingly designed in 2 minutes.
Made from leftover parts.
Yes, correct. Yes. Oh, look, we got some shavings. What can we do for them?
Right.
Anyway, guys, I am sorry. It is jumping all over the place. So I kind of missed a few of you guys on the giveaway. Hawkbill with a Congress handle so you can use the curve, says Tree Stabbing Troy.
I follow you there. Congress is usually pretty short from top to bottom. So it'd have to be a pretty narrow hawkbill or be sticking way out of the handle. But I like the idea of the curved, could be like a modified Congress with a wider handle, but just sort of respecting the same gentle curve. Pretty good idea, Troy.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool, actually.
Congress is a sweet knife. Have you guys ever seen like a
Yeah.
6-blade Congress? Those things are freaking cool.
Yeah, they can be pretty cool. I've seen some really cool ones. Oh, very cool, Jake. I appreciate that, man. He won my Knives Live giveaway, which had a couple of slip joints in it. Very cool. All right, so let's go back to the Cyborg for a minute. So, all right, first let's do this. So let's just take Benny's clip here. So when you designed this one, what was your process here?
So that one, like the others, I had sort of knives to look at. So the Pena Lanny, that one resembles the most, but I also had the Romano Lanny out in front of me. I had calipers, I measure everything. I just kind of look at it and I start. This is the Romano one. So you can see they're a little different.
Okay, yeah.
And so on that one, I drew the handle first to a dimension that I wanted it. So I basically said, like, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll get all these knives out and I'll measure the distance across the bolster here. And one thing I noticed immediately when I started doing that was, like, you pick up a custom versus any GEC, and the customs are almost always longer across the bolster.
Okay.
Like, even this as a big knife, that one's pretty close, but still not as long.
Right, correct.
So if you're drawing a handle and you start with a specific dimension here, then you're kind of asking yourself, well, how long do I want it to be? Because I try to keep them 4 inches or less. So you maybe draw this rectangle up here, draw a line at the bottom 4 inches away, and then you sort of just kind of draw the handle in there, you know, respecting like this constraint up here, this line down here, maybe how far out you want this to come. Because you make it too far out, it looks weird. You don't bring it out far enough, it looks weird. You make it too skinny down too far, it looks weird. And so really, I know the size is kind of dictated by how wide it is here, how wide it is down here, and how tall it is.
Right.
And so once you have those outer limits, you're really drawing for what looks right. Obviously, you'll get a chance to know if it feels right when you get a prototype. But if it looks weird, it's going to look weird no matter what. So then once I had the handle on the Benny's clip, I put the pivot in, I put the spring in, and then you're really just now drawing a blade that will fit inside the handle you already drew.
Right.
So you draw, usually what I'll do is I'll draw like the blade is just a rectangle. Like, imagine it as just a blank piece of steel. And so coming out of the pivot, there's just a rectangle, and then I'll fold the rectangle in to the handle, and then I'll print that, and I'll take a pencil and I'll kind of like draw in the clip swoop, draw in the belly, and kind of draw it in with a pencil, and then go back to the computer and start putting the lines inside of that rectangle, sort of is what I do. And
that makes sense.
Yeah. And then it's like, you have to, then there's all these little fine details, like, okay, where's the tip? And is the tip 1.5 millimeters away from the edge of the handle? Because if the tips are up too high, as we know, you'll feel them with your finger. So got to get the tip right. You have to make sure the cutting edge is spaced enough from the spring, or else you get a blade wrap.
I have no idea what just happened, but anyway, I got kicked out of my own stream. But anyway, I'm back.
So yeah, that was the process on the Benny's clip, was decide how big I want the handle, draw the handle to shape, and then drawing the blade while maintaining the aesthetic you want from a Lanny's clip.
Right. And I mean, this one, like Freak Show said, is a great one. I love the size of this one. If you got meat hooks, this is a good one.
Yeah.
Nice big knife. So really, really cool. So how does that differ now? You said you kind of went a different direction with this one. With the Cyborg.
So okay, so hold those two knives up together. They're the same length. You know.
Are they really? Yeah, they are.
They're the same length, but they're different from, you know, I guess you'd call it top to bottom, so from spine to blade well. And so this knife is a lot narrower. Like, is that the right word? Shorter? I never know what word I want to describe that.
Not as tall as what I would probably say, but yeah.
Not as tall, exactly. And, you know, it gives it a different feel and a different look. So I think what I always try to tell people, like, the numbers on paper do not tell the whole story. Because if you just put the stats of the numbers next to each other, you'd be like, those knives are almost exactly the same size, but they're definitely not.
Yep.
Now, on this one, I sat down and I did not have a plan. I just was going to draw a knife, and I wasn't trying to capture a specific traditional pattern or anything like that.
Right.
And what I always do is I start with the top bolster, because that top bolster has to have inside of it or underneath it the spring, the tang, and then the hole in the middle of the tang, which dictates where that screw is. And I don't want the screw to be some weird spot. If you guys have ever seen a old-fashioned slip joint taken apart, you'll sometimes notice that the pivot pin on these things are in like really weird spots, but you never know it, because when they put the knife together and pin it and then blend it, you can't really see it. But on my knives, because there's a screw head, you know exactly where that pivot is.
I'm sorry, I got distracted by Brian being a goofball. We can do that. Yeah, there you go. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Brian. You're crazy, dude. I appreciate you, brother. Brian, by the way, Ben, just like kind of a lot of you guys have done, Brian has jumped in with both feet into this knife community, and he has been awesome to have around. He is an awesome, fun dude. So,
well, Brian's starting up with me in January.
Yeah, which is awesome. Awesome. But yeah, so that's really cool. By the way, I was carrying the vampire today, so I had that guy in the pocket. I told Ben, guys, I pretty much have a slip joint in my pocket every day now. He's changed it for me. It's just a good one to have for certain situations, and you know, I like trying to pair different blade shapes together. Today kind of didn't work out that way. I kind of had 3 similar blade shapes today. I had a kind of a speary looking one here in the Atom, which I just, the thing is, I probably, because of all the knives I get in, Ben, I go months without carrying this. And when I do, I'm like, I gotta carry this more. This is a fantastic knife. It just is. And then I had the Finch Halo, which you could argue, Ben, by the way, this is very much a sod buster with a bigger belly in a flipper. I mean, it really has that kind of, I mean, I know it's a different blade shape. You're looking at me like I'm crazy, but I'm just saying.
No, I was just trying to understand if that's a drop point or a clip point.
It's a clip, I believe. It's very similar to their 1934, but this is what they're calling a sport model, which instead of having bolsters and a bolster lock, it's a liner lock and G10. It's pretty much the same as the 1934. And then, of course, I had the vampire today. So I had, like I said, you know, one's a clip point, one's kind of a spear, and this one's definitely a spear. And so I kind of had some similar-ish blade shapes today. I don't usually do that. I usually try to pair things that are different, but sometimes you just run out of options. You know, it's like, what am I carrying today? I have no idea. All right. So another question for you. Are you typically dictating whether you have a pinch in the bolster, whether that's on the traditional pattern, or is that something that you determine on your own?
Well, every knife I have has one. I just like it.
Yeah.
You know, I just like it. I mean,
well, that's true. This one really does have a pinch. It's just,
it does. It's just different. It's
it's
an angle, it's an offset angle, and there's a chamfer, but they're both chamfers.
Yeah, exactly. That's what a pinch is, really.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I just like them.
Yeah, I think they're very cool. Yeah,
I think technically this is a pinch.
Yeah, that's definitely a pinch. Yeah.
See that? That's different right there. That looks like someone actually crunched it in. That's a pinch.
It's a crimp or a pinch. Yeah.
Versus like all these other knives. Now look at this one has a really small one. See if I can
Very
get
cool.
that.
That's awesome. Yeah, that looks really cool. I like that. So, I guess, I'm trying to learn more about the traditional patterns, and I know some of them have it and some don't.
This one does
some
not.
have
this is,
right. Some have no flutes, some have a flute or two or three even, and you're just
and some of that's just trying to switch it up.
Yeah.
But if I have the rectangular or square shaped bolster, I really like bringing that line across and then the half circle where the chamfer is.
Right.
And what that also does is like when you have the knife open, here, I'll do it on this one. When you have the knife open, it creates a cool detail like right there by the tang stamp. So instead of just having it's just another dimension going on there.
Absolutely. So I see that very much so.
Yeah,
so you're right, and I'm crazy. I didn't realize everyone had it in some way. Now I've looked at all of them to try to prove you wrong.
Think if the javelina has it or not. I'd have to actually look.
Well, let's see here. Well, I don't know how old the picture. Well, I thought I was sharing, but then when I literally kicked myself out of the stream, I'm not sharing my screen anymore. So give me just a second, and we will look.
You think I would know that? It's been so long.
No, probably not. Let's see. You say javelina?
Yeah. Yeah, that one does not have.
It does not. Yeah, you're right.
And that's because the sod busters I looked at, it has a different shape. So it doesn't have the, and you can see the blade on this is similar to the Cyborg.
Yep, it is
close. Like it doesn't have the up sweep on the where you like to put your thumb, like we were talking about.
Right. It comes more straight across.
Yeah, and the swedge is a little different. Like it doesn't have the same peak right here. It's just not the same, but it's very similar. But I just wanted to draw another one of these long, slender clips with a really long clip. So that's what I was inspired to do on the Cyborg.
Right. That's cool. So yeah, looking forward to some of these. I mean, there's still a whole lot of knives sitting here, Ben, that haven't made it our way yet. So
there's a lot.
Really is. And there's some that a lot of people are really excited about. Like the one I think I hear the most about is the Venom. I hear
Venom
people
a lot. I hear the low drag a lot.
Yeah, low drag and Venom. Those are the two I hear quite often.
We still got Little Bro and we got Big Bro. We got Humpback.
Yep. Very, very cool. Yeah, well, that's low drag that we were talking about there, which is super cool.
There's a tweak that you guys will see. I won't tell you what it is, but I did a tweak on that thing based on feedback I got from folks at the shows on that prototype.
Oh, okay.
So, and also that one at all the shows had a blade wrap.
Oh.
So that's one of those that's like a great thing about taking prototypes to a show.
To a show, right.
They get handled and they don't get handled gently. So.
Oh, no, I hear that. People are shoving them home for you there.
They definitely are.
Yeah. Well, that is cool. So, I think, and I said this kind of in my last stream, but I'll say it a little bit. Oh, by the way, well, I don't want to give that up. I give you a little nickname in my review that's coming up on Friday. So we'll see. Oh, what you laughing about?
Oh, nothing, man.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait. So I'm not going to give it up. I want to put it in the review. So, but I think it's super cool. We could obviously have a discussion all day long about where people's processes begun as far as all the kind of modern slip joints that are coming our way. You've got Rough Rider has now come out with this APTA series. I don't know if you've seen that.
They look a little familiar.
They do. I'm not saying that. You're saying that.
I've had people say it to me. I'm not offended or upset. I'd like to know, were those inspired by mine, or is that a coincidence? I'd like to know.
Yeah. It
But
definitely, so, again, I'm not judging because I don't know what process or anything like that. But I think, and then of course you've got Austin, over at Traditional Pocket Knives, with these beautiful pieces of work here, which are definitely different than yours. I mean, they have a different feel and a different way they're finished, and they definitely they have a really cool sound to them too. His have a really intriguing sound.
yeah, that's a robust, heavy duty knife.
Yep.
I would feel a lot more comfortable if I had that knife and I had it in some material and I twisted it than with mine. I'd be worried I'd snap mine. But that thing, man, like that sucker.
Definitely thicker stock to begin with, not coming down to that tiny little edge that yours do. Thicker in the handle, definitely meant for more beefy work. And then if you take this, obviously you take this guy, even more so, because now it's a solid chunk of titanium there that you're holding on to. So those are really cool. Man, my chat is not updating here. I see why. When I kicked myself out, it kicked it out. Okay, very cool. And then Lefty has this barley coming out of left field. He's actually sending me one of those prototypes tomorrow. It's coming my way. We didn't argue. He argued with himself, and I said, dude, whatever one you want to send me. He was like, I could send you the plain one or the blue one with the pattern on it. And I'm like, Kevin, you're sending me one. Send me whatever one you want. And he went back and forth for 10 minutes and finally decided. So there's Joe from Lancelot Leather. And then, of course, I happen to have a Lancelot Leather slip here. Very cool. Check Joe out. Check out Troy Northwoods. Check out River from Sage Grouse Leather. Camp. Shoot, I can't remember. Oh, somebody help me with Iggy's Campfire Leatherworks. That's it. And whatever else there are. Lots of good choices out there for leather, guys. Very much so.
Well, I think it's really cool. First of all, I take no offense. I don't get upset. Like, no. I want there to be more slip joints.
That's do too. That was kind of where I was going with what I was talking. I think it's cool that we have this resurgence and they're all trending towards that modern side of things. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's been sorely missing. It's been sorely missing. And the traditional slip joints, like there's a lot of choices. Not all of them are the
even
best.
On the cover of the Smoky Mountain Knife Works catalog today, we got a case trapper there. So really cool that they're paying more attention. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I just think there's been a lot of, you could get into a case knife. You'd have to, you'd struggle to get into a GEC, but you could get into a GEC. And there's other brands out there, and you've been able to really try out. I mean, Rough Rider. So you've been able to learn about what a slip joint's like. But if you wanted one in modern dress, the choices were a lot slimmer.
Very slim. Now, and most of them were customs or things like, or the Italian ones.
The Italians are really the only mass-produced option around. And it's good to have that, but I think it's good to have more choices. Just like if Spyderco was the only game in town, like we'd all be happy, but we're a lot happier with more choices, and ultimately that makes Spyderco do a better job.
I totally agree. So Tim S is saying Andy designed those when he was still with SMKW. So who knows, man? Like I said, I'm not making a judgment. I'm just saying that, they definitely have some similarities, and they definitely, it's cool to have the options is what I was trying to say.
And I was just making a tongue-in-cheek comment because I've had several people send me a message like, oh, look, these are the same as yours. It's like, first of all, they're not the same.
No,
they're at a different price point. They have similar materials and aesthetics, but mine have similar materials and aesthetics to some of the Italians or some of Pena's customs. Right. Like, ain't no one breaking any real ground here.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, people keep saying that I came across something really different with the pinion, but then tons of people have told me it looks like this, or it looks like that, or it looks like this other thing. There's nothing new under the sun, guys. There's just it's been done. I mean, you could argue you could argue that I tried to do something completely different than everybody else, and we saw where that went. So you know, it's there's a reason that there's tried and true designs out there. That
look, if someone were to get into an APTA and like the form factor, right? Like, oh, I kind of like a slip joint. It's skinnier. It goes down in my pocket. You know, I like the walk and talk. I like this. I like this a lot. Well, you know, do we ever in our knife journey, don't we typically go up the price ladder as opposed to down the price ladder? You know, so this is a stepping stone for someone who might enjoy all facets of the modern traditional, whether they buy one from me or buy one from Austin. Like, none of that really matters. What matters is getting more people on the train, because with more people on the train, the community becomes more sort of well-rounded, I think.
Totally agree. And you know, I will tell you, they did a great job with the blade geometry. This one cuts really well. There's some issues with it. It's not quite centered. The blade moves around a lot. There's lots of gapping.
$40 or
$26.99 for this one.
I mean, $26.99.
Exactly.
So, you know, you're getting a lot. Like, I'll tell anybody who contacts me and says, like, hey, Ben, your slip joints are sweet. I don't know how I feel about slip joints yet. You know, what's something I could try out without spending a bunch of money? First place I'm sending them is to a Rough Rider.
Yep.
You know, it's like grab a couple of Rough Riders, spend $40-$50, get two or three of them, and just get a feel for the form factor.
Yeah, and you've got something like this. I mean, this is the Rough Rider Reserve Barlow. Right. And I think they did a fantastic job with this. I mean, this is a beautiful now this one was closer to $40, I believe.
Yeah.
But no gapping to speak of on this one. No issue. So there's options in a budget price. I mean, to get you started. There's stuff like this. There's the Denim Micarta work knife is a Rough Rider. That's a fantastic starting point. That's a shoot. You said it a little bit ago. The pattern.
Swayback Jack?
No. Swayback. Thank you. Is that what you just said?
That's what I said.
Yeah. Sorry. I can't think and listen at the same time. I'm sorry. But yeah, this is a cool one to try. I mean, I think these are in stock. Like I said, I think they're $40. And you know, if you've never tried a slip joint, at least give one a try. There's so many options out there. It's crazy. I mean, you think of the Tactile Bear, you think of the James brand one Kevin has in right now. I think Ontario Knife Company is even doing an old hickory you know, in a slip joint. I've wanted to check that out and just haven't gotten to it yet. But there's just a lot of options out there right now. And Ben, you and I know, I mean, you know, you and I've talked about this a bunch. There are people, and I'm not calling anybody out. Please don't anybody get sideways on this. There are several people when each time I post a video on one of your knives saying they're just way too high for me. And I get that. You know, they may not be for everybody, but maybe down the road, it's something. If you get involved in the lower price ones, maybe down the road you'll be able to pick one up. You know, it's like anything. You know, every knife isn't for every person. But there's so many options. It's crazy.
Yeah, and really, all I offer is another choice for people. I'm not saying this is the only thing available to you in the market. It's like this was missing from the market, and so this was designed and has the specifications that exist at that price point. You know, if this is what you want, thing is, you're not going to get the exact, at least as far as I know, you're not going to get this exact same knife, the fit and finish, the grind, et cetera, for less. You know,
I agree. I totally
get an excellent knife for less. It's just you're getting that knife, and this is this knife. So
totally agree. And people that try to argue with me, I always say you're not going to get this kind of hand ground back spring and hand fitted and everything else in something that's less than this. It's just not going to happen.
There's some really good options out there. So I don't begrudge anybody for their opinion, and it's just an opportunity to educate people. Like, I'm not gouging on these things, guys. I promise. Like, there's what they cost to make, there's what they cost to distribute, and then I got to make a little bit of money on them, and then here we are.
So let's talk facts for a minute, okay? So let's just have a conversation. I'm gonna grab a knife. So hold on, half a second. So anytime you get into, so let's do a couple of things. Let's say the pinion, okay? So this is steel liners with just a scale overlaid over the top of it. So they're milling out the liners, and then they're milling obviously the scale, okay? And then you get into, and I didn't grab one of these, and I'm not going to get up again. But then you get
those liners are probably stamped.
Yeah, you're correct. I'm sorry. Yes. So I'm pretty sure. Well, they might be water jet cut, Ben. I'm not sure.
With the
stamped and then maybe
stamped, especially because of the larger minimum order quantities on those knives.
You think even with the milling holes and everything?
Well, I would assume they're stamped because it's the fastest and cheapest way to make parts.
There you go. That makes sense. And I bet these blades are stamped and then ground down as well. Most likely the blades are probably stamped out or water jet cut, one of the two. I'm not sure which it is. But your point is there's less going on than, let's say, now I step up to a hold on. I could have had this stuff ahead of time. If I now step up to a titanium knife, now you've got a piece of titanium. Mm-hmm. Hello, Trevor. Don't throw stuff at me. And obviously now it's more expensive to mill that. And now you've also stepped up to a higher end steel. So this one's gone up, price wise a little bit. Hey, Trev. What's up, dude? What's up? Say hi to Ben. Hello. Ben says peace.
The other thing too we have to talk about is how much human labor is involved.
Right. So that's what I was going. And now you've got when you go ahead.
Machine ground blades. Like a lot of those bevels. It's not a throwing knife, Casey.
I dropped it on my keyboard, guys. Go for it. Hold on just a second. No, so you go ahead and talk.
I think in a lot of the production knives, there is the handwork being done is primarily assembling them and maybe doing some lock bar tuning and stuff.
Right. But what I was trying to get to and never got there was once you now start adding, so now you got to take this titanium and you've got to mill down a spot for this, and now you got to cut and mill out this whatever material you put here, micarta in this case, and now you got to fit that in here. So that's a totally another step entirely, rather than just a scale that's cut out in one piece. So you're talking layers and layers. So obviously the stout is more expensive than the pinion because there's more going on here. I mean, there's more milling in that titanium, and which Ben is probably right that these liners are probably stamped and these are milled out. And then now picture the same thing with one of Ben's knives. Now you've got that same thing going on, and now you've got a pocket because you have bolsters on either end. And so there's a lot more care and a lot more handwork and time that goes into something like this. So I don't see gouging. I can sit here in my mind and break down each piece of that process. And
yes. So there's a couple here. Let me elaborate for you.
Brian, you're a smart aleck, man. I do not need a tourniquet, but my keyboard actually does.
So you've got parts that are made to an extent on a machine. Then you have parts that are made to an extent by hand. So primary bevel grinding by hand, finished, assembled, ground along the spines by hand. then they're disassembled, all the parts are numbered, and then parts have to be refinished, and then it has to be put back together. When I say refinished, like they have to reblast the titanium. They have to, you know, get these spines to have that brushing look on them and all that stuff. Now,
which is beautiful. Yeah.
So that's a lot more of a slower process than a bin of blades, a bin of
Right.
handle scales, a bin of pivot screws, and then someone just pulling parts out of bins. So this is like mid-tech. This is really a mid-tech.
So somebody asked me, for example, Ben, how in the world did I get these made in 60 days? And that's exactly what you're talking about. They're stamping these out. Yes, there's some work going on to make these contoured, of course, but it's a bin of parts. Oh man, look at that. Did you see that? A bin of parts, and they're just assembling them. It's a little different. You're exactly right.
Then the other thing, and this is probably one of the biggest factors involved, is how did this knife get made available to you, the customer? Is it a designer like me and KC? Okay, if there is, that means there's a factory involved that we don't own. Factory has to make money. We have to make money. Are we using a dealer network? In my case, yes. Dealer has to make money.
Right.
So there's 3 people in the chain there that have to make money, or the product doesn't exist.
Right.
It doesn't exist. And, people would say,
what?
I'd hate to interrupt you, but did you see Darius McGee's shot?
Why are you interrupting my stream for that?
It's a Sports Center top 10 shot.
Okay, you can show me in a minute. Well, come on and show me real quick then. Let Ben finish talking, though. Go.
So you got, what could these be cheaper if I didn't use distribution? Well, obviously, but would I have the reach? Would I have the ability to sell the minimum quantity release after release after release? That's a really big gamble. And what I've learned, observing the market, is that dealers can get the knives out there. At least that's been my experience. So, but they have a margin they have to make. And so you, as the customer who likes to shop at DLT, who likes to shop at Blade HQ, who likes to shop at Knife Center, who likes to shop with Brian at Blue Creek, like you guys like shopping at those places. Well, the flip side of that is knives coming from dealers are always going to cost more when there's an additional person in the chain.
Right. By the way, let's pause for a second. My beautiful daughter, Ashlyn, and Monty have arrived. Guys, Ashlyn has let you down tonight.
I did not.
You did. You let them down.
Did.
Mom did. Don't throw Mom under the bus. There will be no wooden killer bunny tonight, guys. We are out of them. They have now ordered some, and we'll have them by next week. But we have a 1 week with no bunny. So whoever wins tonight, you can throw rocks at Ashlyn.
It's your channel, not mine.
It's your channel, not mine. Oh, so yeah, I hear what you're saying, and that see, what? I'm out. Blaze is leaving. Oh gosh, what? Ashlyn is fired. The rabbit is now in charge. Unsubscribed. Great. I'm losing people now. No bunny unsub. People are leaving left and right now, Ashlyn. Scarlett has been thrown under the bus. Scarlett, you're getting thrown under the bus down here. Oh, wow. She says it's all right. She knows y'all don't love her. Trevor, come back and show your highlight.
Everyone unsub.
I kicked my son out and he's mad at me now. Everyone unsub. That would be bad.
Tonight I'm playing for Grumpy Grump.
Oh, gosh.
No, buddy. Let the story
Ben, it's going off the rails here, buddy. I'm sorry. That's what happens when my daughter forgets.
New favorite
knife. Okay. What's your new favorite knife? Look what she's got. She's got opinion. Can you flick it yet?
Not yet.
Oh gosh.
Not with these
my oldest son, Bradley, is the best flicker in the house besides
I
me.
could do it before I had these nails.
Guys, there are still plenty of pinions left at TempestKnives.com, and there are still some left now. If anybody's in your international, I would tell you try White Mountain Knives. He is shipping internationally to some places, apparently not some. But you'll have to check with him and see what the deal is where you're at. but he's still got some of all 3 varieties. And it looks like by the end of the month, I should have some more black micarta. Not a lot. They will go fast, hopefully. Knock on wood. But yeah, we should have more black micartas by the end of the month. And Ben, some microburst prototypes by the end of the month as well. They'll come together. So I'm very excited about that. I'm getting 6 prototypes this time, so I can keep some and pass some. Last time I didn't have a pinion for like 3 months because I was passing them around. And
it's worth picking up a few extra ones. You know, you'll never regret it. You can always do them for a giveaway or sell them or, you know, something. But
Yep.
Nice
All right.
See you. Nice to compare a few of them side by side too.
What number would the bunny have been?
What number would the bunny have been? That's a great. Wasn't it just 20 of them in the first batch?
Maybe.
So it would have been 21. You'll have to go back to last week's and look. I don't remember.
Oh, excuse me.
Trevor sent me something because he's mad at me now because I told I stopped him in the middle of. Oh well.
But when you a highlight that'd be on again in an hour, and an hour later,
well,
an hour after that.
Apparently there was a shot that's like going to be like the #1 on Sports Center tonight, and he was trying to show it to me, and I can't find it right now, but I'll find it later. But anyway, so guys, do you have any questions for Ben? We have some time here. Thought it would be kind of fun. And I know, Ben, you're going to get a lot of the will you do this handle material or that shape or whatever, but you can handle it. So, do what?
It's good feedback for me. What people
it
like.
is. It's great feedback. I love it. So I actually have drawn a couple of slip joints today, and then I drew a knife today that kind of leans towards that hawkbill side of things. It's not a real hawkbill. It's kind of Casey's take on a hawkbill. And I actually I'm in the camp now of I might take that blade and put it with a slip joint handle and forget the other blade I drew and do that one. I think that would be pretty cool. And do a slip joint with that crazy blade I drew today and see how that goes. I don't know. I'm willing to take some risk. We'll see. Killer Bunny number 21 got tanked and never came back. Just skip on to number 22. What are you doing? Oh, okay. Whoever wins tonight is going to get a custom item, apparently. She's down here drawing. So you're getting a custom. Wow. Whoever wins tonight, actually, this could be even more special. Ben, would you ever consider a multi-blade design?
Yes. I think if I do a multi-blade, so the factory told me they can do them. So that's good. Now let's talk about some of the details there. I use 3mm stock, right? I use 3mm blade stock, and it comes to a real thin edge. But 2 of those side by side is going to make for a pretty thick knife. So I think
which if you saw the 2-bladed Ohio River Jack, that's what you had. It was pretty thick.
Right. So I think what I would probably do first would be a bottle opener, like a cap lifter, because I think that has more appeal than a second blade, and they're just cool. So, but I would have to experiment with thinner stock for the cap lifter. You don't need a 3mm hollow ground cap lifter.
There's your single blade Barlow.
Yeah, that is definitely a single blade Barlow.
Rusty, he did a single blade Barlow, but I bet he'll do another one at some point. You never know.
So I've yet to design anything with 2 implements, but it's on my radar. I get a shockingly little amount of time to design things, and that's what really eats at me is when too much time goes by and I haven't designed anything, because that's like like a perishable skill. Like you need to keep that up. Opens from opposing ends. Yes, you could do it that way. I like jackknives that open from the same pivot, so it's my own preferences that lean me in the other direction. But you could definitely do 2 blades on 1 spring. but I would go the other way with it first and try to design them on the same pivot.
Gotcha. Do a trapper with a clip point and a warnie.
Yeah, that would be like the Tony Bowes Warncliffe Trapper. Like that knife is just freaking amazing. If I was to do a double bladed with 2 mains, that's probably the combination I would go for, honestly.
That's cool.
Because you put the clip point in front and the swoop of the clip point goes down. And then the Warncliffe's behind it, so you can pinch the Warncliffe open. And to get the clip, you just use the nail nick.
Brian says an SAK's style, all on
spear point. Yeah, so I mean, I would love that knife, but my concern is, especially at the price point that these are at, how many people look at something obscure like that as a reason not to buy it? You know, it's like, oh, it has a leather punch on it. Well, I don't need one of those, is what I think.
Right.
That's like one of my favorite tools on a folding knife is that punch. Not because I like to punch leather, but because like it's like a little pick. You can pick at stuff with it. So I find it to be incredibly useful, but I'm always afraid of getting too weird, especially in the beginning, because I don't want something to be a dud.
No, you definitely don't want that for sure. There we go. I got my slips all confused, and you can kind of tell after a minute which one feels like it fits and which slip.
I use the same. I have one, and I use it for all the knives.
Like, you do that? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't used to, but I just got to the point where
I want to get more custom ones. I like this one from Troy. I'm a tight wad bend, so I haven't bought a bunch of them yet, but I want to get a couple more of those.
Well, at least you got one in it with every tube.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is really cool. More complicated and thicker, but I prefer scissors over the cap lifter.
Yeah, scissors is something that the Swiss do. You know how hard it is to design scissors. They're not just 2 pieces of steel. They have like a camber to them. Yeah, I don't think you'll ever see Jack Wolf scissors, unfortunately.
Well, you heard it here. You heard it here first, guys. Not happening. Oh, that's funny.
Tim asked a question.
Hello. Okay, I missed that one. Sorry.
Tim said, would love to see a smaller Jack Wolf. Anything in the works like sub 2-inch? Presumably you mean a sub 2-inch blade? Like we're talking case peanut, right? So the challenge there is all this hardware, like these threaded barrels and the pivot screw. So on these 3.5-inch slip joints, like the little bro, you're already really kind of tight inside the handle as far as accommodating space for the blade.
I mean, this guy's 2.5 right here, but
yeah, so sub 2-inch is a small knife. Now with pins, you have like way more room to play.
Right.
So it'd be really hard for me, Tim, to design something smaller than a 3.5-inch handle or like a 2 and 2.6-inch blade. Otherwise, I'd have to probably find different hardware. And if you guys have ever seen the videos where I take apart the knife, like some of those screws are really small already.
Yep. That's funny.
Pry bar.
See, he says even 2.5 would be cool, Tim.
Yeah, well, the little bro's right around 2.5 on the blade. So yes, I think I'd like to add a few more of the smaller ones to the collection. I just really like the 3.75-inch and the 4-inch handles. Those are well received. And I never really got to see how well the little bro was going to be received because we didn't drop it.
Right.
So I want to see how that one does before I commit to more of the smaller knives. I really like the smaller ones, especially for people who are using it as a backup knife, you know?
So where is my little bro? It's here somewhere.
Now, the way I carry them all in the same leather. So a little bro in the leather and a cyborg in the leather, like this much pocket space is still getting taken up.
Come on. The little bro is 2.5. You already knew that, but I was trying to remember. So that's roughly,
hold that up to like a Benny's clip.
Okay.
Or a Cyborg, one of the two.
All right, here's the Cyborg right here. Instead of me digging through all the.
And then Stacy, I'll answer your question about the pry bar.
Oops.
Line up the bolsters, the bolster screws.
There you go. Close. It's hard to hold them like this.
Yeah, no. And the Cyborg looks shorter than it is because the length is ultimately determined by the bottom of the handle where that point sticks out.
Correct. Yeah. So let's see. Let's get
put it next to a Benny's clip. That makes it look small.
Yep. I had to find it. What is my wife doing upstairs? I think she's making a cake. I hear a mixer on the counter. There you go. Quite a bit smaller there.
Yeah. So you have an extra ½ inch of blade length on the Benny's clip. So yeah, to answer your question, it's very possible I'll do more of the smaller slip joints. Just need to have a little more confidence in the performance of the little bro before I go back to the drawing board on smaller stuff. Now she asked me about a slip joint pry bar.
Yeah, you were starting to answer that. Sorry about that.
I don't know if I would combine.
I didn't want to stab myself. Oh, Trevor just signed all these Butter Knives Fast guys, so we got tons of them. Unlike Ashlyn, Trevor and I have gotten ahead. She's still sitting down here drawing. I'm picking on her. All right, show me this play you want to show me real quick, so that we can continue our conversation here.
So while they do that, I'll talk about the pry bar.
Go for it.
So, unfolding a pry bar out of a slip joint, I suppose that could be done. I don't know if anyone's ever. Well, I don't know. I guess the Medford.
Wow.
Whatchamacallit, the American Service knife has like a chisel tool. It's kind of like a pry bar. But I've been thinking about if I designed a Jack Wolf pry bar, what would it look like? And I mean, everybody and their mother has a pry bar, but maybe it would be cool to design one that had my unique aesthetic on it. I don't know.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
I never carry a pry bar, and in my life, what I do day to day, I don't have a need for one.
I carried one for a while, and I never used it.
Yeah, I think if you work in the trades, it probably is extremely useful.
Probably. But
I don't work in the trade. I work at a computer. Like a screwdriver to me is more useful than a pry bar. So I really like the Vero pry because it just has the screwdriver tips in it.
So I was thinking of something. Hold on, I'm gonna grab another knife. Hold on. See, I'm unprepared.
Urban Woodman says, "My mom does not have a pry bar."
So I know yours wouldn't look anything like this, but every time I think when you say cap lifter or bottle opener, I think of this GI Jack from Marbles, which is like the government, the U.S. Knife, and you've got this warning here, and then you've got a can opener, basically.
Yeah, that's a can opener.
Yeah, it's a can, right? It's that, right? That's what I was thinking of when you said that was something, because to me that's got a very small form factor. Obviously, I mean it's not super thick and that kind of thing. So that's pretty cool. And then just because we're showing off old slip joints, there's a really old that's some Marbles GI knife as well. This is the ones from the 80s, I believe. I've had this one for a long time.
That's cool.
I mean, 80s isn't that long ago, but you know what I mean.
Tim said a coping blade and a small slippy would be cool. That's my favorite secondary blade, Tim, a coping blade. Big fan. And let's see. I think I saw something else in here. Someone said, how about a teardrop? Hey, Mike, I have a teardrop. That's the laid back jack. Or I'm sorry, the low drag jack is a teardrop.
Yep. So let's look at that one real quick if I can get my cursor in the right place. All right. So you said low drag. That's what I have up. Yeah, there you go.
So that's my version of the teardrop. And
you'll be showing it to them now.
Someone asked me about full tie. If I get enough requests, that's a logical variation, full tie. I just need to get more requests for it. So if you guys are into full tie, let me know.
I would love to see a full tie one. That would be really cool. All right, real quick, you guys, Ashlyn went to bat for you, and this is what tonight's winner is going to get. So you get this killer bunny. She just did that in what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it was, and it is number 21. So there you go. So that is the winner. Will get that tonight. How about that?
She did that fast.
Yeah, she drives me crazy, Ben, because she'll do really like high-end art like that. She'll go in a room, she'll say, I'm gonna draw something, and she'll come out with this masterpiece in like 15 minutes.
Very cool.
Drives me absolutely up the wall because I have no talent like that. So I can draw a knife. That's about it.
Someone asked, well, where did it go?
Like
Blade Ogre asked if I would do a 4-inch blade.
Like
4-inch blade is basically close to a 5-inch handle. Not on my radar. Again, that's the kind of thing where I'd have to get a lot of requests. It's always the only people who ever ask me for something that big are people who have like gigantic hands. It's always like someone will say, hey, are you going to do one that's like, 5 inches closed with a 4-inch blade? I'm like, are you really big and do you have huge hands? They're like, yeah. I'm like, how many people in the course of your day do you see that's the same size as you? It's like none,
Oh, that's true, Beefer. I didn't even think about that, man. She's like my Bird. There's a girl named Bird. They're Frankie and Bird. They do a channel, and she draws birds. Little weird birds.
Blade Ogre, nothing's impossible, man. I mean, I'm going to be at this, God willing, I'll be at this for a long time. So I'm kind of going off, for me, I like to pick, first of all, what I like. And then second of all, what I think will have mass market appeal. Because as I add dealers, like the production numbers are going up. So the risk of doing something obscure is amplified because there's that many more of them out there. Maybe I get to a point in the future where it's like in 1 month, I drop 2 different knives and it could be like, 70% of the total production units are something common. And then 30% of the production units are something more niche as a way to test the market.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm just not there yet to where I can do that kind of thing. But I would love for that to be the case where it's like, okay, we're going to do a drop in, let's say around the holiday time. That would probably be the safest time to do it. A November or a December drop, let's just take a round number. If it's 500 knives for that month, 300 of them in one pattern, 200 of them in the other pattern, or 400, 100, something like that. It's just 100 or even 200 doesn't meet the minimum order quantity. So it's just too soon for me to get that fancy.
Understood. So let's have an intervention real quick. Matter of fact, Grumpy, are you set up where you can come on if I send you a link? You're probably not set up. But if you are, let me know, and I'll send you a link. Ben, we've got to talk Grumpy down from his ledge here. This guy is just not a slip joint guy, and he's just convinced he'll never like a slip joint. So
just got to send him a couple, just the way I got all you guys on board.
Yeah, exactly. He's not set up. Dang it. We were going to have an intervention. But you see his comment here. Low drag makes me really wish I like slippies. That's a hot pattern. So,
well, you know what? It starts right there, right? Like, ooh, that looked cool. So, when they come around and Casey gets a review unit, maybe he'll send it to you to check out.
Yeah, we can do that. Absolutely.
Maybe having it in your pocket for a week or two, carrying it around, it'll grow on you because that's what happens.
Well, again, we could talk about this again. Grumpy, here's the way I look at it. If I'm carrying this as my primary, then, I'm going to use this for kind of heavier duty stuff. But like 2/3 of what I'm doing in my day, this is taking care of it. I don't know, Ben, if you saw that short I put up yesterday. I was basically cutting a potato. I was throwing some potatoes in the woods, and so because they were like rotten and had eyes all over them. Well, they weren't rotten, but they were getting there. And so I took the Cyborg here and was just slicing potato chips basically.
Nice.
This can do, I mean, anything. I don't know about you guys. I like to take a block of cheese and cut it up and use it with crackers. I mean, I do. There's any number of things you can cut open packages. You can do. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with this knife. That you don't really also always want to pull this out. If I'm at work and there's other people in the lunchroom, I'm not necessarily going to pull out this big boy and cut up my hunk of cheese, but I'd be glad to pull out this one. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, I guess that's what I'm saying. All right. So here's another one from Andrew. I'd love to see you do something in the 3.5 to 3.5 range, 3.25 to 3.5 range. It's not crazy massive, but closer to a modern looking knives I carry.
I appreciate that. So it ends up being like a 4.25 inch handle. Yeah, that's the next logical step up, I guess. Where I veered away from that is that is as big as most slip joints ever get.
Right.
So where like the standard, like a small modern knife, like a small Sebenza, is the size of a big slip joint. And remember, these are going in the pocket. The other issue I have is it will not fit in this leather sleeve that I buy by the hundred. So then a new sleeve has to be developed specifically for that knife. Now, that's kind of like the practical side of running a production-based business. Not that I wouldn't do it, but if I was going to commit to a bigger sleeve that I'm going to have to order in bulk, then it probably makes sense to develop a few knives that would fit in this thing, So that would be like a way to expand in the future.
Someday, Troy, I need to get out. I have a box somewhere in my house. I don't keep these in my collection, but my dad had a ton of old slip joints that he sharpened on stones, Ben. And he sharpened them. I don't know. Did your dad or grandpa have anything like this? They sharpened them so many times that my dad's blades were only like that, that half the tall, because he sharpened it so many times. And that's what he would do. I mean, he would cut cheese or sausage or whatever it is he was cutting. He'd cut food every day with this slip joint. And my dad didn't have a Jack Wolf. My dad had some crappy slip joint he got from Kmart or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's, it is what it is. But I'm telling you, they're just great little food knives. And this thing is so thin. It is magnificent for that task. Just absolutely.
It's really your everyday pocket knife, Now they can really do real work, but you can pull it out at the post office. You can pull it out UPS store. Like this is frankly, it's just less intimidating and less shocking to people when you pull this out. I think these look a little more like man jewelry, perhaps. Then
that's a good way to put it. Man jewelry. I like that.
Yeah. Or, a gentleman's knife. But the cool thing is these slip joints, they have that gentleman's knife vibe, but like dudes working farms carry slip joints for the last several hundred years.
Right.
And you go to like Texas in the rural areas, I'll tell you what, you'd never seen anything like it unless you've been down there. Guys have these really fancy leather belt sheaths, tooled leather, like the way
River does.
River makes it. But like it's a sheath with like a snap closure, and like their buck knife or their case trappers in there.
Yeah, I think
it matches their belt, it matches their holster, it matches their buckle and all that. Like it's part of the lifestyle.
I think this is the one. The Benny's clip is the one I'm going to break down and get River to make me a slip for. I've wanted to get one of his slips for a long time, and this just because of the blue and because I really like the size of it. I think that's the one. Eventually, I'm going to pay River to make one for me. I've wanted not necessarily one of his, the specialty ones he's making, but just one of the real tooled, really cool, like you sent me with the What was that? The American Jack? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yep. I
You won't
love
be-
that. I
you
love that
won't be-
freaking
it would-
knife.
You know, that'd make a great gift for you from your kids if you guys are still listening. Like, you know, pick Casey's brain about we don't know he likes blue, so there's your hint.
Yep.
But the quality is exceptional and it's different. Like,
Ever since you sent me that one, I've just wanted one of his slips.
If you don't mind a thicker slip, like if you like the thick slip in your pocket, which I don't mind at all, he makes the best thick slips out there.
Yeah, they're just beautiful. Absolutely. Yeah, the gripper could get you sent to HR at work. Yeah.
Oh, we lost him. Is everybody still here? Is this now the Jack Wolf Knives live stream? Let me know in the comments.
I have no idea how that keeps happening.
I thought I was going to get my own live stream.
No idea how that keeps happening. That's twice tonight. So I fixed one issue and now I got another one. So that's awesome. I really, that's great. I think I know what I did, but I still don't know how it worked. Lunchtime, Josh, have a good lunch, my friend. So yeah, I mean, that's another thing about a slip joint. I don't think this is going to get you sent to HR. You know, as long as you're not doing something dumb with it. Obviously, if you're wielding it around and acting weird, maybe. But if you're just using this to cut open a package or, you know, cut a label out or cut a piece of cheese in the lunchroom, I don't think you're gonna get that with the Jack Wolf. So,
and let me just mention something, Casey. We got 94 people in here right now, so would love for all of y'all to hit that like button. We got 63 likes, so
thanks,
that means
man.
You know 30 of you are slipping. So let's smash that like button.
Thank you. It's slipping. Exactly. Yeah, I would love to have more likes. That would be really cool. Thank you. It helps the channel, guys. It really, really does.
Casey, you're on a really impressive trajectory right now, my friend.
It's pretty crazy, brother. I mean, you know, somebody said to me the other day they didn't understand, and I'm like, look, I'm doing 5 to 6 shorts a day and 1 to 2 long form videos a day. You know, I'm putting in the work and doing it, but at the same point, if it wasn't for you guys, it wouldn't it wouldn't be happening. Troy, you're on rare form tonight, brother. Don't cut the cheese in the lunchroom. That may get you sent to HR. No, we're not doing that. That giveaway is not happening. Matisfaction. We will not be giving away a Jack Wolf knife tonight. Sorry. I do have a cool knife to give away tonight, though. We will be doing a giveaway probably in about 15 minutes or so. Oh, matter of fact, let's do this real quick. Ben, let's do this. I'm going to ask Ben a question so I can get something set up since unfortunately I kicked myself out of my own stream, so it's going to take me a minute to get stuff set back up. Ben, what is, so we've kind of talked about some of the knives we know are coming. What in your mind is like a pattern that you're the most excited at some point to bring to the market?
Well,
or is there still something on your hit list that fits that?
So
yeah.
What I'm looking forward to sitting down to do is continue this design language into more knives. This Cyborg. Like, I want to sit down, I want to draw. I've got some blade shapes in my head that are going to veer a little bit from traditional. Like, you guys have given me well, we'll see how these sell. But based at least on the social media response of these things and everybody's kind words, I have the confidence to branch out in a more futuristic, more modern direction. So that's what I want to do. I want to come up with maybe a few blade shapes that are recognizable to something traditional. I don't want to just come up with something that's out of left field. I want it to be grounded in the traditional aesthetic, but with a more angular, futuristic look, and see how those come out. And then craft some interesting handles, whether they're totally from scratch. There's only so much you can do with a handle.
Right.
You know, so whether they're straight, curve in or curve backwards. It's pretty much the only variation we have to work with. That's what I want to do. I want to come up with a few more of these futuristic designs.
That's really awesome. I think that, I like that you'll mix in some of the more traditional stuff with it. But at the same point, I think it's cool to do some of your own ideas and designs as well. All right, guys, real quick. Last week at the end of the stream, we took a poll and everybody said that I should start using the giveaway tool. So against my better judgment, I'm going to start using the giveaway tool. I think I'm going to like it. But so guys, if you want, well, that should have been hashtag, but it doesn't matter. It's just the word cyborg. It doesn't need to be a hashtag. So start typing in between now and the next 15 minutes. Put cyborg in the chat, and that will be your entry to tonight's giveaway. So we'll start collecting those as we speak. And yeah, it looks like it is collecting. So that's great. So Ben and I will keep talking, but you guys can start typing in cyborg in the chat.
Hey, Stacy has a good question. Is it case sensitive?
So everything I read said that it's not. Let me go. Well, I can't go back right now because I will get off of this, guys. So when I read it the other day, it said it was not case sensitive, but I would say to be safe, type it the exact way I have it on the screen.
Now, KC, if people already type cyborg and they type it again, do they double enter?
No, it will. If you've already taken your entry, it won't take it again from your name. Yeah.
So if you spelled it with an uppercase, also spell, or if you spelled it with a lowercase, also spell it with an uppercase.
Yeah, but Faction says it doesn't matter. And he does this all the time. Yeah, so Mark Ridgewell, that Lefty is sending me the barley, which is the slip joint with the finger choil. That's on its way to me tomorrow. So I will definitely be giving you guys a look at that one, and I'll do some comparing with it. Very, very cool. I'm excited to check out Kevin's little slippy for sure.
We got 72 entries so far. 73. There's 99 people in the chat.
Very
assuming
cool.
That's accurate.
All right. Well, we'll keep that going. So, guys, before I forget, do not forget that the Cyborg goes on sale. The Cyborg Jack goes on sale Friday at 2 p.m. Now, we've gone over the list of dealers 100 times on this channel, so I'm not going to do that right now, but go to jackwolfknives.com. He's got a nice little tab off to the left side. Dealers, click on that. Gives you a list of all the dealers. I wanted to ask you about something. I noticed you mentioned on the last time you were on with us, you mentioned, make a relationship with a smaller dealer, and maybe they'll hold one for you or whatever. I noticed that OCD for EDC had been talking about, you could reserve or pre-order one. Are others doing that kind of thing too? Or I thought that was really interesting.
So I'm kind of loose on that.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason is I've got the big guys and I've got some small guys. And for the small guys to compete with the big guys, it's hard.
I agree.
So, I basically tell the small guys, like, you can take a prepayment after the drop is announced, obviously. Like, in other words, don't tell people what I sent you until I
right.
And so for that about 2 to 3 week period between the announcement and the drop, you can take payment, but you can't ship them early. And so
I thought that was cool that he's trying something just to give himself a little kick there, because I know sometimes he's one of the ones that still has some left when everybody else is sold out. So
and I mean, they're probably the smallest
that
I have, and they both have day jobs, so they don't have as much time to promote and everything. So as far as I don't have anybody complaining about it, any of the other dealers, right? If it becomes a problem, I'll have to clamp down on the policy and just be like, when the drop happens, that's when everybody goes. But for now, no one's complaining about it. Some of the smaller dealers, it's their prerogative if they want to take a prepayment. That means the big dealers could do it too if they wanted.
Right, exactly. They have the same opportunity to do it, and I think that's cool. But what I'm trying to say, look, you pick the dealer that works best for you guys. But if you don't have one yet, check out some of the smaller dealers. It might be easier for you to get one, and it'll help out some of these smaller dealers.
Yeah.
So
there's Jason at New River Knife Works. You know, most people never heard of him because he sells traditional knives. But, you know, Jimmy over there at Circle A, I don't know if he, you know, taking reservations or not. I like I said, I leave it up to them. But never hurts to ask. That's for sure.
Brian, this is what we talk about. What Tim said down here about Brian from Blue Creek, and a lot of these smaller dealers, man, you got to find a way to separate yourself. And Brian offers discount codes. He gives free shipping. I mean, customer service goes a long way, and your smaller dealers are the ones that are going to help you with that, guys. So obviously, with Ben's Knives, you're not going to get 10% off. So please don't misunderstand what I just said. But
yeah, but the same, he's right. Tim is 100% right, and the same thing applies for us, Casey. Right? Like if we're gonna have a boutique knife brand, then we have an opportunity to deliver 10 times the customer service than what they can get from the big brands. And so, I mean, me personally, I like to buy products where I know I can talk to someone who can make a decision and potentially solve my problem quickly, because all our time is precious. I don't like when people waste my time. I know when I've called certain companies and I talk to some customer service rep who doesn't know what the hell they're talking about.
Right.
I'm wasting my time, and now I've got to do it again and try to get a hold of someone who knows what's up.
It's the most ridiculous thing these days with the bigger companies, and it's impossible. They're getting, you know, thousands of orders, and they don't have time to talk to each individual.
No, they don't make the time. They don't prioritize it.
They don't. Right. Good point.
Casey, think about like in the 80s and 90s, like there was still customer service back then, but you used to call a phone number and like talk to a knowledgeable person who was paid a good wage. Like that's how it used to be. And then with the internet and all this stuff going to email or whatever, they just the focus left. The focus went to convenience, and customer service took a back seat. So I'm trying to change that.
I agree with you. Brandon Sutton, thank you for your there's your Dalika salute for your awesome super chat. And I saw where Will be up above. Ben said that he thinks the Cyborg is going to sell out quicker than any you've had so far. It's the one that's appealed to him the most, and he's not a slip joint guy. So I've
heard a lot of people tell me, I can't remember if we said this earlier today because it's starting to get late and my brain's starting to scramble. But I had more people say to me on this one things to the effect of, this is the one that's going to get me off the sideline. This is the best one I've seen from you yet. Like there's been more of that comment on this one than anything else I've ever seen. So it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it actually goes. To me, and again, this is what I keep saying. The geometric shapes are cool, but you nailed the ergos on this one. And you know that's a number one with a bullet at the top of my list of what a knife has to be for me to like it. And ergonomically, this one is absolutely fantastic. And thin cutter, I think, to me, looks are beautiful. I do think that'll get a lot of people off the fence, but ergonomically, it's absolutely. Are you kidding me, Brian? Oh, and again, it's not going to show up over for me to share on the screen, but Brian just gave 5 KnivesFAST memberships, guys. Blue Creek Knives. Brian, you are the man, my friend. Thank you so much. Let's see who got them. Tom Weingart, Kyle Coonley. Let's see. JR Miz, Stacy, and Dang Ross. You guys, all 5 of you, if you have not been a member before and you haven't gotten channel swag, send me an email, knivesfast@gmail.com. And if I ever get caught up, I'll send you some swag. No, I'm doing pretty good. I'm catching up on stuff. So I got a little bit behind there for a few weeks trying to get all the pinions shipped out. things are slowing down a little bit. Yeah, Tom's a member. What's the world coming to? That's exactly right. Tom, welcome. Cyborg is dope. Brian is dope. Casey, and what about Ben? You didn't add Ben in there. Welcome, Kevin.
Trying to hurt my feelings, bro.
Yeah, well, I think I hurt his feelings earlier, Ben, because he was going back and forth so much on which knife to send me. I said, give it 20 years and you're going to be indecisive just like me. And we're going to be like, you're going to grow up and you're going to be just like me. And he's like, oh crap. I think I hurt his feelings.
No, you just showed him the future. You're like the ghost of Christmas future.
The ghost of Christmas future. That's a terrible ghost, man. That's awful.
Yeah,
I would not wish that on you ever, Kevin. I was just picking on you. So if you guys are just coming in, I'm going to talk about the giveaway in about 5 minutes. If you haven't entered yet, please do it. Basically, the way we're going to do it, towards the end of the stream, I'm going to show you what we're giving away. I'm going to draw it, and we're going to be done. So a few brands won't even give me the time of day. Yeah. So Brian and I've talked about this a couple times, Ben. He's reaching out. I mean, he's got a shop, and he's reaching out to some brands, and they won't even, they're too big. They don't care. And it's silly to me. He's got a chance to get them out there, and they won't even consider it.
If the answer is like, we're not taking new dealers right now, then respond and say, thank you for reaching out. Right. We're not taking new dealers right now. Check back in with us. Insert date here. Like, have the decency to respond to somebody.
Well, the response he got from one knife company was, you're not our type of store. So basically, reading between the tea leaves, that's basically what they said. So, and the way I told Brian is, then they're not, they said it just right. They're not your type of knife company. So it is what it is.
What does that even mean? You're not our type of store. What does that even mean?
I guess because he's an online store or something. I don't know.
Who isn't an online store anymore?
Yeah. I mean everybody.
I understand that sentiment 20 years ago,
Yeah. I don't know. It was, I'm not going to tell you what brand it was. He kind of alluded to it on Lefty's live stream a couple weeks ago. But I'm not going to be the one telling you which one it was. That's the thing, Ben. By the way, I'm just going to say this out loud. If you ever want a guy to bounce something off of that's not going to say it out loud, I'm your guy. I keep secrets better than anybody. But I would also say, please don't, because you've done such a good job of surprising. I enjoy getting surprised. So don't do it. So, one of my favorite brands too. Yeah.
Brian, all that does is motivate you to grow so big that they regret that comment.
Yep. I agree completely. And that's kind of what I told him. Just do it without them and move on. It's the only thing you can do. And I've had, I'm not going anywhere with this. I'm not going to say who this was, but when I was a very small channel, I had a very rude encounter with somebody who told me, no way, man, we don't deal with tiny channels. Your channel's not significant. Sorry, we can't help you. It was a brand. That's all I'm going to say. And that person has reached out to me since, and I've said no. So, it is what it is. And no, I'm not going to tell anybody who or what or anything, so don't ask. So, but Brian, all you got to do, man, is keep being who you are and just shake the dust off your feet and keep on going, man.
Well, we have 92 entries out of 100.
That's awesome.
We're up to 114 people now. It's pretty damn good.
Holy crap. We got a lot of people in here.
Something, man. We're all just hanging out on a Monday. Hey, want me to burn a little more time? We can talk about.
Yeah, we can talk for a few more minutes. What you got?
Anybody here traveling for Thanksgiving? I'm curious. I'm not this year, and frankly, I'm glad. This is our best time of year weather-wise, and I can't imagine what the Thanksgiving plane tickets cost right now. They're probably $1,000 to go across the country.
Yep. Anybody traveling? Yeah, we can do that
for Thanksgiving, Casey.
We're just staying here. We have family right here in town. My mom lives here, and her parents live here, and we just end up staying here. We are doing a little bit of traveling in the first part of December. My wife and I just doing a long weekend, getting away a little bit. But
is it a staycation? Like, are you staying in town, or are you going away?
No, we're actually going out of town for that one. She's wanted for the longest time to go to the Biltmore House in Asheville, North Carolina. So we're gonna go down there and see that. And everybody's already told me I have to go to the Microtech store. I'm like, okay. So we'll be doing that. But yeah, I don't celebrate holidays. What did that say anymore? Oh, gotcha, Stacy. All my family is in town for Thanksgiving. Am I missing anybody here? Who's
Brian
going
said he's going to be in the firehouse.
There you go. Plane tickets for Turkey Week were crazy 6 weeks ago, says Urban Woodsman. Yeah, there's a Microtech store in Asheville, factory store. Fire stations always had the best kitchens, though. Yeah, they do.
Hey, Brian, do you have any good stories about either Thanksgiving or Christmas injuries, like people electrocuting themselves, putting up the lights, or getting so drunk off eggnog they fall into the tree? I mean, because I feel like there's a lot of emergency room visits around the holidays, and I know the fire department gets dispatched for things. So share with us a Christmas tale.
He's just tons. Come on, you gotta spill, man.
Someone said they have 11 days off paid. There you go. That's
holy moly. That sounds great, man.
He says, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, deep fried turkeys. Deep fried turkeys is one a lot of people get injured doing that.
Yeah, because they explode, don't they?
They do, because if you put them in and they haven't been thawed completely, when the oil hits that frozen, it just explodes. Yep.
Lots of fires from frying turkeys.
That's a boring story, Brian. What's up with that? Thank you again for that. Those 5. Don't fry a frozen turkey ever. But people do it all the time, man. They're crazy. Yeah, it actually pops out of the oil. That's exactly what it does.
Like a projectile.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I gotta work. My family is going down to Oregon for the long weekend to make myself a real Thanksgiving. Gonna make myself a real Thanksgiving dinner, though. Very cool, Tori.
What's your guys' favorite side item? You can only name one. And also, question number 2: where you come from? Do you have stuffing or do you have dressing? Because this argument happens every year in my house between the North and the South.
Also, don't be old on the day after Christmas. What? Gosh, crazy people. So for me, it's got to be mashed potatoes, man. I'm just a mashed potato guy. But it has to have gravy on it too. So real cranberry sauce with apples and cranberry. Stuffing is inside the bird. Dressing is in a pan. Yep. Dressing. Meat stuffing? What is meat stuffing? That sounds like a very Canadian thing. I'm just saying old people like to hang on until after Christmas. I got it, Brian. Sorry. It took me a minute. Oh, God.
Someone said mac and cheese. Is bourbon considered a side? If you're an alcoholic, I suppose it is.
That's good. Go ahead. I also love corn pudding, but that's a Southern thing. Anyway, go ahead.
I was going to say, what's corn pudding? What is that?
It's corn with it's baked into like a casserole kind of thing, and it's like corn and like evaporated milk, and I don't even know how to describe it. You'd have to have it. Help me out, somebody. I don't know how to describe. My mother-in-law makes it. cabbage and bacon for Thanksgiving. What? That sounds very good.
Oh, someone said cheesy apples. That's cool. A good chutney. Those are good.
I have whatever the microwave dinner has inside for Thanksgiving, says Tom. Pecan pie is a good side for sure. I'll take that.
Cornbread with cream corn, corn butter, chili, sour cream, and cheese. That just made me hungry.
There you go. Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much what it is. Corn custardish stuff. It's like a custard. That's exactly it. It bakes into. It's not really a pudding. It's like custardy kind of texture. Yep. All right. Well, I think we're gonna. If you have not done your Cyborg yet, type it in because we're gonna do this giveaway in a minute. Because I've got to get off here, and I've already kept Ben for quite a while here. So guys, don't forget the Cyborg Jack. And Ben, I love having you on, man. It's a lot of fun. I'm learning. Oh, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out RJ's Knives, do that every Sunday. Ben, have you heard of RJ's Knives?
No.
RJ every Sunday is doing live streams, and all they do is they do talk about some not traditional knives, but he has a bunch of guys on and they sit around and talk about old patterns of slip joints. And a lot of them go like to sales and different things and pick up like somebody's old camp knife or somebody's old, boy's knife or whatever. And they show some really freaking cool old traditional slip joints or lockbacks a lot of the time. I've been watching RJ pretty much every Sunday. I think he's usually on, I think it's like 11 a.m. Eastern maybe, but I usually end up, or maybe noon, because I usually end up watching him like 1 or 2 o'clock is when I watch him. So I don't know exactly what time
a
he's
YouTube
on.
channel?
Yeah, RJ's Knives on YouTube.
Okay,
Yep.
I need to follow him.
Yeah, it's really cool because he digs into, me, Ben, I'm still trying to learn a lot about the older traditional patterns. Even though my dad had them, he didn't tell me anything about them. He didn't, he just knew it was a knife, and so it's really cool to learn some about some of these older. Ben is the only person I listen to speak about traditionals, says Grumpy. Jeez, Grumpy, I'm speaking about traditionals. You got to listen to me. You don't have to actually at all. All right. Well, we're going to get.
I just subbed to RJ's Knives. Thank you for the
check him out on a Sunday, man. And he reviews another good one for slip joints is Thrifty Kniffy. He does live reviews sometimes too, and he does a lot of slip joint reviews. But really cool guys. Show some older ones, and I think it's good for me to learn. Heck, sometimes I'm at some of these estate sales or yard sales, and I don't ever know what I'm looking at. So it's really cool to hear from these guys what they were showing this past 2 weeks ago. They were showing traditional fish knives. Are you familiar with those?
With the like descaler on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Really cool, thin, long knife and then the descaler and also the hook remover on some of them. But it was funny. One guy brought one out, and suddenly every one of the guys on the live stream, there's like 6 of them. They're all pulling one out from a different brand and talking about them. It was really cool. So yeah, there's RJ's link, guys. Check him out. Yeah, Knife Delights is another really good one that does slip joint reviews. Thank you, Byron, for reminding me. He's on there with RJ a lot. And for some reason, I can no longer put anything. Oh, that's neat. I can't take Grumpy's comment down, and I can't put anything else up. Neat. All right. So, Grumpy, your comment will be on for the rest of the live stream. All right. So, we're going to do the drawing now. Well, we're not going to do it until I tell you what we're giving away first.
Hey, it's the Ben Show. What's up, everyone? Since Casey does not know how to use this equipment, it'll be you guys and me. And we would be doing a giveaway, but we've lost all the entries. And therefore, I am not giving away anything unless someone wants to set up a giveaway, and I'll give away a couple jack sacks. Oh, he's back.
Remember, I told you I couldn't do anything. It locked up. It just locked
Oh.
up and kicked me out.
Don't worry, I was
So
covering for you.
literally, I got my sync right. Everything's in sync, and now we got this problem 3 times in one live stream. All right. Thank you, Ben. So here's what we're giving away. Of course, we've got the Killer Bunny drawing that Ashlyn did right here sitting beside me. This will suffice as number 21. Killer Bunny number 21. That is sweet. Look at that. So then we've got this huge, this bag of swag tonight is probably one of the biggest I've ever done. Of course, you have Butter Knives Fast. What number are we at, KC? 79. I cannot believe that, but yeah, it's number 79, Butter Knives Fast. You got all kinds of swag. I'm not going to go through everything. You got SMKW stickers. You got KnivesFAST stickers. You got Blue Creek Knives, of course. By the way, have you seen this new Blue Creek Knives sticker? This thing is hilarious.
That's cool.
He does some really cool stickers. Got a okay, by the way, I need to say this is a 1988 set of baseball cards from Blue Creek Knives. If you eat the gum, it's on you. It is not my fault. I do not take. You do have an SMKW cloth here, and lots of SMKW stickers. They sent me so many. They're in there. There is a Spyderco sticker in here. There is a blue Jolly Rancher down there from Blue Creek Knives. Alice's paracord down there. Sticker. You've got a Peanuts Band-Aid. You have a Wee and Civivi patch. And a Rosecraft Blades coin that I got at Blade Show, guys. I'm finally remembering to give that away. Really cool Rosecraft Blades challenge coin. And then, hold on. You have from Alice's paracord, or Alicord paracord, I should say. You have the piece de resistance of what she sent me. You have a ball tapper tonight, guys. Check it out. You got the one goes around your wrist if it'll fit your wrist, and good whacker here with I think she said it's a 1/2-inch ball bearing, I think, or a 1-inch maybe.
Oh.
Maybe a 1-inch ball bearing in there. So that'll come to you. And then the knife tonight is super interesting. This was I purchased this from SMKW, and Joe from Lancelot Leather sent me a slip. Guys, that's right. Tonight we are giving away the Rough Rider Stompin' Berry. That is right. This little guy, it's very cool. We will give that away. Little tiny guy with the Stompin' Berry. So that's what we're giving away tonight. And you get the slip, obviously, from Lancelot Leather. How cool is that? He did a really cool job with that. So that is what you're going to win tonight. So let's, I have to reset up my screen share since I got kicked out. So give me just a second. That may well be what killed everything, Ben. I don't know. I don't completely understand. So let's see if this works. All right, there we go. All right, guys, we're going to draw now. So stand by and we'll see who wins. Bam. There's everybody's names coming through. It's slowing down. Let's see what we get.
Round and round we go.
Craig Wilkes. I thought it was Freak Show for a second. It just froze. Craig Wilkes. Congrats, my friend. Craig Wilkes is our winner. Hopefully he's still here. Craig, you need to send me an email, knivesfast@gmail.com, and I will get all this boxed up and sent your way. Congratulations to Craig.
And congratulations to KC for running a drawing successfully using modern technology. Let's give him a round of applause, everyone.
Really big.
No more guess the number. It's retired.
See, this is how. Well, you don't like the number game? I love the number.
I like this
game.
better, man.
All
Honestly,
right.
it's like you don't have to watch all the chat.
What I like about it is that I don't have to dig through the chat, and it's more definitive and all that stuff.
It's fun seeing the names. It's like watching the wheel on The Price is Right. You know, it's like it slows down and then it stops. Exciting.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thanks, man. We had a big crowd in here, Ben. You draw the crowd, man. Thank you so much for being here. People. Yeah, we were up to like 116 at one point, is what I saw. So that's besides Knives Live, that was welcome to the 21st century. Thank you, Steve. Coprolite is in the chat.
They were calling you a boomer earlier.
I was born in 1969. I am not a freaking boomer.
No,
I'm close, but yeah.
you're close. You're on the Gen X boomer cusp.
Oh gosh. Boomer Blade Works. There you go. You guys are hilarious. And I forgot to mention one other thing tonight, guys. There are now you see this logo in the upper right corner, way over in the upper right corner of the stream above Craig's name there. Here, by the way, we can take Craig down now if I can do this without ruining everything.
Is Craig in the chat? Did he?
I don't know. I hope so. Craig, are you here, sir? No, Casey, you grabbed the crowd. I'm not grabbing anybody, man. Are you my dad? No, Kyle, I am not your dad, dude. But anyway, up above Ben's head, that KnivesFAST Live logo is now available on Teespring. So you can go. Matter of fact, where'd it go? I just saw Tim S put it up. You can go to Teespring and you can now get that logo on a shirt. That's courtesy of our friend. Oh, it's Stacy that put it up. Oh yeah, thank you very much. I will do that very much, Tim. Give me just a second. So yeah, Stacy's put it up there, guys. You can go there now and you can get the one with that logo on it, the KnivesFAST Live logo that our friend Backpack B did. And I want to mention Brian from Blue Creek has a 1,000th purchase giveaway going on right now. If you go there to Blue Creek Knives, you enter on his website and you can win. I mean, it is a pile of stuff. There's a pinion in there. What else, Brian? Are you still here?
He's got some Jack Wolf swag in there.
Yeah, he does. He has a little bit of everything in there. I know he's got some paracord stuff in there from Alice. I don't know what else.
You're gonna need a forklift to get the pallet off the truck if you win.
Yeah, so please go to Blue Creek Knives. If anybody could put a link up to that giveaway, that would be great. Let's see, Rosecraft signed by the designers. Very cool. Man, he really went all out for this one. So yeah, guys, if you want to win some cool stuff, there you go. Go over to Blue Creek Knives. You can use my code if you buy anything there. But yeah, go enter the giveaway over there and support Brian, guys. Obviously support the other. I mean, I'm an affiliate with Austin over at Traditional Pocket Knives and White Mountain Knives and Smoky. Support all those. But Brian's just been a great member of the community, and I definitely love to see it. A Spartan Aster and a ton of Spartan swag. Very cool. You're welcome, Ed Harrison. Thanks for being here, brother.
Hey, KC, before we sign off,
Yep.
I wanted to just say something off topic, but
no, go
there was
for
a
it.
conversation I had over Halloween with my daughter's friends' parents, and we were talking about how things used to be. So remember when we were younger, for anybody, I'd say over 35, 40, we didn't have digital cameras, right? But did your parents have slides?
Yes.
Remember?
I've got a whole box upstairs of my dad's slides.
We were talking about slides. And for anybody young in the chat, there were these little white cardboard squares that had the photographs your parents took on a slide, and you put it in a slide projector and pointed at the wall or at a drop-down screen. And that's how you look at someone's family vacation photos.
You're going to love this, Ben. You're going to love this.
You got sucked into looking at someone's
in 1988, I took a college photography class where I went to college, and we had to do a slideshow presentation.
How foreign is that now?
I don't think most people even know what that is. When I brought some slides out and showed my kids, they're like, what the heck is this? Because my dad had one of those little viewers. Have you ever seen that? The little viewers with the light bulb under it, and you just have a little screen. And so I brought that out. My kids were like, what in the heck?
Yeah.
This thing would hurt. Ow. Alice is trying to maim people. See you, everybody who's leaving. The sound of a slide projector will forever be stuck in my head. Yep. My dad played slides. He would just literally put a sheet up on the wall and play slides, and we would sit there and watch them. Yep.
The thing would like jam. You know what I mean? Oh, it's such a bizarre slice of, our past that just is
Oh,
gone.
gosh.
It's
And then
gone.
Craig brings up your library. Where'd it go? Library microfiche. Who remembers that crap? You go to the library and move it around and zoom in. Yeah, that was a lot of my kids have no idea what any of that stuff is. And then Ben, are you old enough? I don't think you are, for film strips in your classroom.
No, by the time we were in the classroom, we had overhead projectors with transparencies,
So I was the guy in like 5th grade. The teacher would call on me, and I'd be the one to turn the knob to advance to advance it. It would go beep. They would put, guys, for those of you that don't know what a film strip was, it's literally a piece of film with pictures on it that goes through a projector, and then the teacher would set a tape recorder beside it and push play on the tape recorder. And then every time it beeped, you would turn the little knob to go to the next picture. It was ridiculous.
To pair the audio with the picture.
Right. So it was like a video that wasn't moving.
Right.
Oh, the good old days. So those
things
are
have changed. That's how you know you're old. When you start talking about some of that stuff, it's like, oh my God, I haven't seen that stuff for decades.
Well, most kids today, like if you're under 15, you don't even know what a cassette player is, and that doesn't seem like that long ago to me. Audio cassettes, so we had all of these things. Rusty says, yeah, Rusty's around my age, I think. So the slideshow of my mom and her siblings growing up, it got covered up, used to be part of our family tradition, Christmas tradition, before my grandparents moved into retirement. Yep. My dad would do that every holiday. He would pull out the slide projector.
There's a lot of slides in attics or in storage units, people unwilling to throw them away, but yet they will never get looked at ever.
Yeah, you're exactly right. But we do pull the slides out every once in a while and look at them. But it's not, I don't put them on the wall. I just look through the little viewer thing. Laser disc for health class. You're younger than me, Blaze. No, we didn't have that. I remember when I had to flip open my cell phone, smart Alec. I remember the first cell phone I had was at work, and it was a bag phone in the work car. And then I had one of those big Motorola Whip cell phones, Ben. That big, huge phone with the whip antenna off of it.
Fancy, man.
Yeah. I was a pretty important dude, man, at one point in my life. Polaroid cameras, yep. Well, yeah, the Polaroid cameras kind of made a resurgence recently a little bit.
Yeah, kind of niche.
Yeah, we're big San Diego Padre fans, and every time they hit a home run, they go in the dugout and take Polaroid pictures with the guy who hit the home run.
The Polaroid camera was the only way you could take like a naughty picture back then, because otherwise you had to take your film to the drugstore. You couldn't take a picture that you didn't want the drugstore employee to see.
I had a Motorola StarTech Mark. I had 2 of those actually, because I broke the first one. Oh gosh, this has turned into a trip down memory lane now.
I love that, dude. Now that I got kids that are old enough to have these conversations with, it's really fun explaining to them how things used to be. And I mean, I'm 40. I just turned 42 on Friday, so it's not like I'm that old, but old enough to where things are really different from when I was their age.
I've only got you by 11 years, so I'm going to die any day now.
Between now and then is astounding.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible how things have changed. It's
just trying to explain to your kids about how much like cigarette smoking used to happen everywhere you went.
When I first started working at the place I worked for 26 years, there were ashtrays in every room, and people just smoked right around the building everywhere you went. It was the most normal.
Buildings.
Yep.
You go into like McDonald's and half the place was filled with smoke, and it was like gold foil ashtrays on the table.
Yep,
Like the
yep.
amber glass ones. And it's like, you can't even fathom that today. You know?
No, not even close. It definitely has changed.
I had
Darnell's seen a lot. He says a lot of changes. 67
my
years.
father was born in 51, so it's like you're right there.
So Ben's saying
I
you're old enough to be his dad, Darnell. That's what he's saying.
I have a 1994 Ford Explorer, right? That's what I drive. And I had my son. I picked up my son and his friend is in the back seat. And he's like, "Is this an ashtray?" He's like, "Why is there an ashtray in the door?" I'm like, they all used to have ashtrays.
Yeah, and it wasn't that long ago that they still had ashtrays. You used to have to walk through smoking section to get to the non-smoking section. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
The smoke aquarium at the airport.
That was disgusting. Honestly, if you think about it, like, everybody stunk back then.
Oh, good grief.
Couldn't avoid it.
No.
Nope. Then again, a lot of people smoked.
Oh my goodness. You guys are nuts. This is hilarious.
I was on a plane in Europe that had 2 or 3 rows in the back you could smoke. That is the most just disgusting place to have cigarettes, is in an airplane. Like, there's no, it's just nasty.
Stacy, you probably shouldn't ride on that plane anymore. She says she's been on planes with ashtrays still in the armrest.
A lot of them still do.
The horrible old days, says Grumpy. Yep. Still got a Sony Walkman. I still have one upstairs as well. Matter of fact, I still have an old, in college, I had a little, the little micro tape recorders that you would use to, I still have one of those.
Those were handy. That was like a way to take notes back then.
Yeah, that's what I did, because I don't listen well. My brain goes over here while the professor's talking. That's how I got through college. And I'd get home and I'd play the tape in and I'd be like, did they really say that?
It's like,
I don't remember that. Yeah, exactly.
Kissing. Oh, man. I miss it. I miss some of those simpler times where everything, you had to try harder to be connected to people, It's good and bad.
You've offended a smoker, man.
Sing if you Dave. I wasn't talking about you personally, Tom. I was talking about everybody's clothes, like people's houses, Like, if you smoke in your house, I don't care how much you bathe, dude. Your couch, your curtains, your carpet, it all reeks.
Yep. Tree 7 Troy says he's lighting up right now.
More power to you, man.
This is more America. Power to you.
Smoke them if you got them. I don't care. I smoked for 11 years and I quit. Yeah, quitting is hard, but I'm probably better for it now.
Yep. Yeah, and my dad was like that. My dad smoked, believe it or not, right after World War II and during World War II. My dad smoked Lucky Strikes, and he said once he decided he was done and stopped, after like 20 years of doing it, he just said he couldn't stand being around it anymore. So yeah, I guess that's the way it is. Flintstone cigarette smoking commercial. Yep.
They were good at advertising.
Yeah, there was a little bit of everything back then, man. Don't come over to Tom's house then, he says. But anyway, that's my grandpa cut his finger off because of smoking. What? I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Hey, actually, Darnell, I would go back to manual windows on the car, because here's the thing. It wasn't that hard. And they don't break and cost you $300 to fix the motor.
It's just the one on the passenger side, dude. That's the one that sucks.
Yep. That one did suck. So that one should be automatic, and this one should be manual, because this is the one that breaks the most. Oh gosh. But yes, the no seat belts. Exactly. When I was a kid, My mom said they did have a car seat, but it didn't have straps. It was just like a booster, and you weren't strapped into the car at all. It just sat there. So you just would have gone booster and all through the windshield. That's funny. I wish I never got rid of my 2004 Ford Ranger, 2005 Ford Ranger manual, everything. Yeah, exactly. Now you got all this power stuff and it breaks all the time.
I'm rebelling against modern vehicles. It's just too much computer screen.
I agree. I've got
a manual push button driving experience.
Right. Yeah. I've got a 05 Ford F-150 and it's still back there a little ways as far as technology, but
I just kind of wish the Explorer had airbags at least. Not a single airbag in that thing.
Yep. Ben, this will be a funny story. My first car in 1986, my first car was a 1968 Ford Fairlane four-door. So that thing was as long as my house. Okay. The thing was huge. And when I got it, it had been in my grandma's barn for her garage, which was a barn, for 25 years or so, or not 20, couldn't have been 25 years, 15 years, let's say, in her barn, and not used. And my dad inflated the bias ply tires that were on it and set me off. Go in the bias ply tires. So that was a lot of fun. That was an incredible. It had the same engine the 1968 Ford Mustangs had. Small block V8 357. No, what was it? 289 maybe. That sounds right. It was a small block, so I think that's right. But somebody will correct me in a moment. But it was very, very interesting car. Crazy. My first was a 72 Caprice, says Demonoc. Yeah, those were pretty cool cars too. Yeah, we did that all the time, JN. My dad had like early 80s Pontiac Bonneville maybe, and he would pull us. He had a rope tied inside the trunk, and then we would be back there on like a sled, and he'd pull us across the ice and snow. Yep. That was lots. That's the other thing we were talking about. A friend of mine today, Ben, do you remember? You may not, again, this may have been out before you, but first of all, when I was young, the playgrounds all had metal merry-go-rounds, and you would run like a crazy person and jump on these things and fly off and get hurt. And then they had those dome jungle gyms. Did you ever see those that were shaped like an octagon pieces in between?
Yeah,
and
just
climbing.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any padding or anything. If you fell, you got hurt or whatever, but kids did that stuff nowadays.
And then like a steel slide.
Steel slides.
And like when you went down, it was like zzz, 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 as your skin
your skin burned off in the summer.
God forbid that you didn't have a shirt covering your back when you went down that steel slide.
73 Pontiac Ventura. Oh my goodness. Man, there's lots of good stuff going on here. My mom gave me her old minivan when I would turn 16. Huge mistake, says Brian. Mine was a 1996 Ford Explorer Sport, the 2 doors, one with the fire engine red. There you go.
Those were the Firestone tire busters back then, right?
Yeah.
Remember that whole thing?
Right. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
That was a big deal.
Yep. Even my generation had metal playground equipment, says Freak Show. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, but I gotta say that the first thing to go out was those merry-go-rounds because kids were getting trapped underneath them, and I think they took them out. But I played on those merry-go-rounds a billion times.
Yeah, because you'd get like one kid on it, and then all your friends would like spin it as fast as humanly possible.
See if you can hang on. It's spinning around, you're puking. And you're trying to hang on. I'm not letting go.
Yeah.
Yep. And you're flying up in the air. Yep. It was, those were the days, man.
And I don't know where I saw it, probably on Facebook or something. They're saying like in Germany, like they still have dangerous playground equipment, what we would deem dangerous, because that's how kids learn to assess risk.
Right.
And like you only got to fall off that sucker once to know like how high you should go,
Well, even the what do they call the things
bars.
that are the monkey bars? Even those were higher. You climbed up and you were dangling 6 feet in the air, and you were doing. Nowadays they put them where your feet are only about that far off the ground.
And there's rubberized ground.
Right.
So they're saying that there's like a movement back to the old-fashioned playground equipment because
to teach kids, right?
Yeah, because it's the pussification of youth with the shit they got now.
Right. And I can't imagine that they're that great at solving problems. We would, that's how you learned how to, oh, somebody got hurt. Let's do it this way.
It's like, Billy's ankle is twisted backwards in the golf ball shaped jungle gym. How do we get him out?
William Muncie, I remember doing that with the dirt bike as well. That's hilarious. We would one of the ones that I got in trouble for was my dad. My dad bought me and my brother a kite, and some of the neighbors got kites as well. And we came up with this brilliant idea one day, and we would put them on our fishing poles. So we would go out flying our kites with the fishing poles, and then some guy had this. There's like 10 kids out in this vacant lot, flying kites. And somebody got a brilliant idea. It was probably me, to put nails up in the tip, because it would like tubular plastic, and you would put a nail in there, and we would all dive bomb each other and rip the. So I'd go home at night and I'd go, Dad, I broke my kite. Can I get a new one? And they'd go buy me a new kite. And like a week later, Dad, I broke my kite. And after like the 4th kite, my dad's like, what are y'all doing? And my brother just ratted it out, and my dad was not happy about that, having bought me 4 kites, because we would go do that stuff. But that's how you entertained yourself. There wasn't TV and video games, and in the summer, we just found ways to entertain ourselves, It was a lot of fun. How in the world I didn't break every bone in my body, I have no idea.
Because kids have soft bones.
Is that right?
I mean, young kids for sure. They're almost, your bones are harder to break when you're young. I don't know at what age
Right.
They're easier to break when you're old. That's a fact.
Because they get more brittle as you get older. Yeah. Trust me, as a guy who broke 4 ribs about 2 or 3 years ago now, I was shocked at how I hit hard, but they broke pretty easy. When he told me there were 4 broken, I was like, what?
Think about when you were a kid, how often you hit the ground for whatever reason.
Like teeter-totters, holy crap.
Sports, just whatever. Like you hit the ground, you got back up. Hit the ground now. See how you feel.
Right. No thanks. No thanks. Yeah, you definitely do a lot easier as a kid bouncing back. No doubt. Norwegian Forest kids classes, they learn knives at 4 to 5 years old. Yep. I've heard that. They learn field craft when they're really young. Yeah, I cashed out pop bottles all the time, Darnell. I always tell people, Ben, and my dad had to think about it. If we have stories, think about the stories my dad, who was born in 1925, had. And my favorite story, both the most ironic story and my favorite story from my dad was, they in the 30s, they were broke. I mean, we're in the middle of the Depression. There was nothing. And his mom was having trouble. He was being brought up by a single mom, and she was having trouble making ends meet. So he had a paper route, and he would go around on the same bike he was delivering paper. He had a basket and a wagon on the back, and he would collect scraps of metal all over the place. And he would go take it to the recycling place, and they would buy all these scraps of metal. Well, Ben, on December 7th, 1942, everybody learned where all that metal was going. The Japanese were the ones buying up all that metal, And that was, my dad used to say that was the whole reason that he felt I got to get into this war like immediately when Pearl Harbor happened. He felt like he had built, Japanese ships and planes and everything else with as much, because he described it as every day full wagons, and he would do it every day. He and his brother would go do this, and he, so we talk about recycling. I always think of that story from my dad of how angry he was that the Japanese used something he was trying to help feed his family, to against us, so really interesting way to look at things.
Right.
He and as a kid, he didn't know what he was doing. He was just selling it to a scrap collector, that was collecting it and giving him money for it. And that's how his mom helped put food on the table. So really, really interesting. And again, he was, 8 and 9 years old, riding bikes all over town, throwing people's newspapers out. It's a different world. It really, really is.
It is. It's a different world. It's 100 years ago almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, my dad, like I said, he was born in 1925. So yeah, we're coming right up on 100 years since he was born. He died. We were talking about this yesterday. He died 14 years ago this January. So it seems like it doesn't seem that long ago to me. Hey, Scarlett, say hi to everybody. I'm wrapping up. I'm sorry. She's coming down here. What are you doing? Oh, I know. You didn't say anything. I'm just being funny. But yeah, no, it was crazy. I got a lot of sharpening to do. Yeah, we got to wrap it up.
Sorry, I made it go an extra 30 minutes.
Oh, no, you're good, man. That was funny.
I like that part of it. We all get to know each other a little better. People get to talk about when they were kids. Like, we're all hanging out. Those are interesting conversations.
Here, real quick before I wrap up, Scarlett, what's something you had as a kid that you did that kids don't even know about today? Something you enjoyed doing? We're all talking about all the crazy what? Playing outside, she says. Yeah, kids don't know what that is. We were talking about all the dangerous playground. Right. She said she would just be gone for hours. Her parents didn't even know where she was. Exactly. We would do that, and we knew at dusk. I always knew that if I wasn't home, if I wasn't coming in the driveway at dusk in the summer, my dad would kill me, But other than that, 6 o'clock in the morning, we were out.
We had a big bell in the yard.
Right. They had a big bell in the yard, and her dad would ring the bell when they were supposed to come. So, but we just knew what time, we didn't have watches or any of that crap. We would just go play, and bare feet, thorns all in your feet, come home filthy dirty. And kids don't know pogo sticks. Yeah, exactly. Clackers. Yep. I remember those as well. We also had those little things. I think they called them lemon drops. It had a hoop that went around your leg, and then like a what? Lemon twist. You ever seen those, Ben? You put around one leg, it had a hoop, and then it had like a rope or a cord that went out, and then it had a round. Yeah, and you would skip over it and spin it around your leg. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what they were called, but they were crazy.
When I was a kid, there was one called Skip It.
What, Scarlett? Lemon twist. She said, yeah, skip it. Lawn darts. Exactly. Lawn darts were fun. Lawn darts with knives? You did? Seriously? What kind of knives?
Very much. My dad and
what kind of knives was it? As kids, her dad had him out there playing lawn darts with knives.
The darts weren't sharp enough.
I guess the darts weren't sharp enough for him. Fixed blades, yes, of course. But I just didn't know if you remembered what they were. That's funny. That's funny, Mike. What was that, Trevor? All right. Clay skateboard wheels. Yep. I'm not quite that old. Scarlet red or not. Oh, Tim S wants to dye his pinion a color called scarlet red. See, he said, should he or not? Sure, she says. Says it sounds good.
I want to dye mine purple.
Yes, I had it. I did have an erector set. I did not have the one with the steam engine. That sounds cool. That sounds I had a director set that actually turned into a digger, like an old school A-frame digger. Yep.
Quality of those old toys too. Like when my kids were little, the toys, we would buy like Connect 4 or Guess Who, just whatever it is. And it's like all that stuff was so much better than it is now. That they're made as cheap as possible.
Right. Well, we laughed about this one. When I was a kid, I had Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and we beat the ever-loving crap out of that toy, and it kept going. We bought Rock'em Sock'em Robots for our kids, Scarlett, like 10 years ago. It was so cheap, it fell apart in about 5 minutes. It was
junk.
It was garbage. Yeah. Thinner plastic and just not done well.
Yeah, my mom had all my Transformers in the basement. And so when we go back to Michigan and stay there, she pulls all this stuff out for my son.
Yep.
These like metal die cast toys that were made in Japan. I'm like looking at these things. I'm like, these are really nice. Like these were so well made.
Yep.
And the shit they have now is junk.
Yeah, somebody said Tonka. I had so many Tonka trucks. Slot cars. I had slot cars, lots of slot cars. We kept buying slot cars and we link them together. I also had the old, I had over 100 Hot Wheels and
Matchbox
cars. And I had all the plastic tracks with the loops and all that stuff. We still have a few of my cars around here somewhere.
Now it's all about the iPad, man.
Your brother had G.I. Joe. I had G.I. Joe. I had a G.I. Joe hang glider that we took up to the one mountain in El Cajon, California. It was called Shadow Mountain. We took it up to Shadow Mountain and threw this hang glider and had to go find it. But yeah, it actually worked. Had a Evil Knievel toy. You ever see one of those, Ben? Where you wind it up? It was a motorcycle, and you would wind it like this, and then we go, and then you'd let it go. That thing was awesome, man. Yeah, I had the orange track. That's exactly right, Troy. I had all that crap, man. I had so much stuff. Voltron, yeah, I remember Voltron. So, but yeah, really, really cool. This is fun. This is more fun than talking about knives, Ben.
I think so. We talk about knives all the time. It's fun to get on here and talk about other stuff too.
I may have shot my older brother with a BB gun on accident, Theo. It was actually on accident. It was not on purpose. We were walking with them, and he was right beside me. And of course, that was before anybody taught me trigger discipline. And I just pulled the trigger and shot him right in the ankle.
Oops.
Yeah, well, it just, and he didn't die somehow. Today, kids would die from that. So I'm just kidding. But yeah, still have my favorite Transformer. That's so cool. I had a gas powered model airplane. Yeah, with the handle, and you ever seen one of these, Ben? It was a little gas powered model airplane. They would, like an RC plane, but in this case, you had a handle and a rope that went out to the wing of the plane, and you would literally, no joke, you would spin in a circle with the plane, just keep spinning as it flew. Yeah, those things were so bizarre, but I had one.
Or the helicopter on an arm that flew in circles.
Yeah, same thing. She had a helicopter on an arm that flew in circles. Those are cool too.
That's
or the ones where you had the little helicopter and you held it and it had the little propeller on top and you pulled it out.
The ripcord.
Yeah, and so yeah. See, there's all kinds of boring stuff these days. Look at all that fun stuff. I had plastic guns that look like actual guns.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, we had lots of those.
They started putting orange tips on cap guns. I had like model airplane paint, and I would paint the orange tips black.
Look at this.
Damn.
David's got 600 Hot Wheels still in the packaging. Well, David, there was a period of time where I actually had bad memories of some of my Hot Wheels and stuff because, no joke, this is the God's honest truth. I had really bad allergies when I was younger, like where I would have like major allergy, like asthma attacks and stuff because of them. And so I had to go every week. And every week my mom and I would get on a bus and we would go from El Cajon to San Diego on the bus, and we would go get an allergy shot. When I get done with the shot, she would take me to a toy store around the corner and I would get a Hot Wheels car. But after that, I was like, geez, every one of these represents shots I got, you know, how terrible is that? And there were hundreds of them. So, all right, Ben, we're going to wrap here. I really need to get some stuff done, but really, compressed water rockets. Yep. Yeah. I had those as well. Man, we had a lot of toys.
That's what we did.
Yes, sir. Because you weren't just sitting down over here playing with a friggin' Xbox.
There was one TV, you know, in a lot of people's houses, and your dad was probably watching the news. So it's like
the only interaction I got to have with the TV back then was if we watched the show as a family, or if my dad said, "Hey, go change to channel 3." Right? So I would, because that was before remote control. So you go turn the dial, and my dad would go, "Casey, go turn it to channel 3." Yes, sir. Yeah, that's what it was like, by the way. For those of you that don't know, it was click, click, click. Like when you go with your gas cap nowadays, and it's like click, click, click. That's what it was like on your TV. Yep. I remember when we first got a microwave. That was pretty wild. And you know how we got one, Ben? This is why we got one. Our neighbors got one. And my neighbors got one. And the kid came out. I kid you not. The most bizarre thing, because up to that point, you know, you saw if you wanted a hot dog, you cooked it on the grill, or your mom cooked it on the pan. And this girl walks out of her house and she's got a hot dog on a plate and just a piece of white bread. And it's like blown apart on the ends. And I'm like, what is that? And she goes, a microwave. And I'm like, what's a microwave? And so she takes us in the house and she microwaves another hot dog and I eat it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever. This hot dog just got cooked in like 30 seconds. And I walked over to my dad. And so for weeks, we bugged my dad about how, you know, we had to have one of these. And he went and got a microwave. So yeah, it was just so we could nuke hot dogs, you know. We would just sit around and nuke hot dogs and bologna all the time.
That microwave changed popcorn forever, man.
It did. It absolutely did. Oh gosh, our TV always had a vice grip on the broken knob. That is hilarious. No, I never did that, Theo. Never microwaved a compact disc. Apparently very toxic. All right, guys, literally, I got to get off of here. But Ben, really fun having you on, and I like talking stuff other than knives too, so that was fun. And by the way, you asked about Craig Wilkes. He messaged me, so we're good. Cool. So our winner has contacted me. Hello, Tyler. But yeah, very, very cool. And I'm sorry for the weird. The third one, I know what I did wrong, but the very first 2 times I got kicked out of the stream, I have no idea what happened. So I got to figure that out. So hopefully that won't happen again. So thanks guys so much for your patience and for the fun. And Ben, looking forward to the drop of the Cyborg on Friday. Hope it goes really, really well for you. And I can't wait to see what the next one is, man. You got all of us addicted out here. So
addicted to having fun.
Yeah, addicted to having fun. Exactly. All right, dude. Have a good one. Thanks, everybody. Give us a thumbs up on the way out if you haven't already. And thanks so much for watching the KnivesFAST channel.